that is the way my days are feeling right now. So glad to see you guys starting to pop on in here. I know that you could be anywhere else across the social media platforms or not on here at all. So I appreciate you choosing to join in and take a listen and see what we have for conversations today. Um, there's a lot going on, right? With primaries happening all over the country, and specifically some big things happening in Wisconsin and in South Carolina. And good morning, Find Out. Good morning, Sandy. So yeah, so listen, folks, wherever you're watching from, make sure that you say hello so that I can greet you in the chat. Substack, I can't see your chat, but just know that I am grateful that you are here and wishing that you could pop in and participate. Good morning, Tech Lady. What's up, Alshami? Good morning, everybody. Hey, David. What's up, Eureka? Good to see you. I am throwing the link to join the panel. It is in the chat. So you can see that on YouTube and on Twitch right now. Hey, Witch. Hey, Jamie. What's up, Endo Moon? Hey, Straw Hat Marky. Flying Nana. Good morning, folks. What's up, Jamie? Appreciate it. What's up, DJ 20? What's up, Red Hot? I think I said Contita. Maybe not. What's up, Contita? Blue Honey Pot. I missed somebody. Melinda. Sue, Carol, Mel Gray, Penny GF. Good morning, folks. What's up, birthday girl, Amy? How are you? Y'all can see I have a Red Bull on deck today because, yeah, life requires it. Marnie, I know that Prince Harry Wright invites you to co-host. Why would I do that? Yeah, no. Marnie, I sent you a text earlier. If you're on here, I don't know that I saw you, but I've got graphics that it would be great to get some help uploaded into the Google Drive. So if you're interested in helping out, let me know. Good morning, Cats. Do I have a man in your life? I have lots of men in my life. What do you mean? Good morning, Tim. Good to see you. Also, for those of you guys that are on the subscriber side of the world, appreciate you, Kat. Look in the subscribers discourse. I put a my needs are taken care of. Thank you though. But listen, I put a message in the subscriber side of the chat looking for some help lining up candidate interviews over the next 80 days. I'm just saying, Melinda, sometimes it's just so weird. But you know, it's the internet. So there you go, right? So if that is something that you would be interested in helping set up, please let me know and respond in the subscribers Discord. Also, for some of you all that subscribe to me directly, I need to kind of review, and I'll be putting an update in there about all of the people that are subscribed directly and what that looks like and what stage you're in, and if you need to make any changes to your subscription. So I'm hoping that Eric pops in here pretty soon too as well. Good morning, Don Juan. Really cute gift, right? What's up, Sassy? Hey, Gio. Hey, Michelle. I'm going to put this out so I can stretch my hip out today. So I'm going to share an opinion today that may or may not be popular with everybody, and I don't really care, but I'm down for the conversation that it might generate. I'm glad you are here. I thought about you this morning, my friend, when I saw the results coming out of Wisconsin's primary and the governor results. And so I want to talk about those, and I want to share my perspective and kind of my thoughts around all of it and what it looks like, what it does and doesn't mean, and what it tells us about how we might be able to move forward for the midterms. Hey, Georgia. So hopefully everybody's down for all that conversation. Of course, these are not the only things that we're going to talk about today, right? But I did want to play, hey, I'm Sammy. I did want to play a clip from the president of the American Academy of Pediatrics. Not only did they put out several statements yesterday across their social media platforms about nothing changing in terms of the science and you know, and the data and what it tells us about how we vaccinate our children, but he also went on, some mainstream television outlets, which should tell you just how serious they are about making sure that parents understand that there is nothing that has changed, and there's nothing to justify making these changes. So we are going to touch on that again today, but not nearly as in depth as we did yesterday. We are going to still tap into some of the testimony from the CDC director, former CDC director, and the state, so that we understand the state that our CDC has been in for the last 18 months, because I don't think most Americans know when we have like this insane, severely high measles outbreak for largest outbreak and highest numbers in like 30 years, and even more than last year when we first broke that record. And then when you also have things that are happening globally with outbreaks. And so some of you out there are like, I don't give a shit about what's happening in the Congo. Well, you might want to, because people travel all over the world. And so those things end up making it home. And there's a reason that we participate in global aid and global medicine and global science, because we're supposed to understand that we are all connected together, and that what happens on one side of the world will eventually impact the other side of the world in some way, shape, or form. And so it's wise for us to just be in tune with those things and participate in those things. Right. It's like maybe Candace that they didn't read it all. Yeah. So were you in Papa Orion's live? I was in his live earlier. So if you guys know who Papa Orion is, we were in. I had him on my live along with Kovi and Mama Africa and another individual who just left and went to Congo about a month ago now, I want to say. She was going back, and she's going to be there for a couple of years volunteering at the orphanage where she was raised. And so there's a lot of different efforts that are happening there in Congo and in other places. And so I was on with him earlier this morning, and I sent him a direct message. So he is actually going to get with me, and we're going to set up a time to do a specific live about that initiative there in Congo, and about some of the things that they're doing with the kids in terms of their schools, in terms of the women that have come out of sexual violence experiences, and the things that they are doing with them, that they are teaching them how to sew, and so that they can have an income of their own, and then also their period pad program, where they teach them how to sew and make those so that they are reusable. But I was on his live this morning and asked him, if he would be down to set that up for me, since he has all the contacts. He said yes. I said great, and so I sent him a message, and so hopefully we'll be having that. We'll put that together fairly quickly and make that happen as well. Good morning, Georgia. So it's been a full morning over here already, in case you don't know. But I do want to, touch base and kind of, let's breathe for a second. Can I get one of my mods to do me a favor and send me a reminder at 3:00 this afternoon to take care of some things for our Pally friends that I need to take care of? With Bella's birthday and everything, I just fucking forgot. Sometimes my ADHD is not my friend. But if you could do that, that would be amazing. So Philip, let me make sure that you, maybe let me help you out a little bit. So you can have the opinion that President Trump is the best for America. That's entirely your opinion. But people don't have to leave if they disagree. Like, that's the whole purpose of this being the United States of America, and us having elections, and us participating in the process, is that this is not a dictatorship. We don't kick people out of the country because they disagree. So if you're going to be in my space, I'm going to ask that you follow my guidelines, which are very simple. Be respectful. Don't use slurs. Don't spam my chat, and don't type in all caps. I have folks in my community that are vision impaired. And so that means that all caps are reserved for those individuals and my moderators. If you can follow those 4 things, we'll get along just fine. If you don't, you'll be muted and booted from my live. Okay? All right. Just wanted to let you know. Good morning, 80. Right, Don Juan. Democracy. Yeah. Smarchel, I hope you find a good one. Yeah. I think that's great for you. Good morning, Alice. Wow, missed you guys too, Georgia. Hope everything went well in the hospital and that you're recovering well. Guys, I know you're not talking to the trolls. I know you're not. You can't be. No, you're not. Awesome, Jamie. Love that. So yeah, exciting things. By the way, don't let me forget, you guys, when I start to talk about midterms, don't let me forget about Minnesota as well. Good morning, Seku. Good morning, Packard Giles, Tina Noel. Don't let me forget to talk about Minnesota, because did you know that in the state of Minnesota, for the first time ever, all of the candidates for the midterms are women? Republican and Democrats, they are women. How about that? And that's the same case in Tennessee with the two women that are up for governor. They are both also women in Tennessee. One, I believe, is a decent human being and a woman. The other one, I think, is a shitty woman, but a woman nonetheless. Marcia is a woman nonetheless. She might be what I consider to be a shitty human being, but she is a woman. So, there's that. Yeah, but I also want to talk about Peggy Flanagan is an Indigenous woman too. Yes. And so I do want to talk about what's happening in South Carolina. So Lindsey Graham's sister was able to secure enough of the Republican primary vote to force a special runoff that is coming. And so we are Annie Andrews is not running. Yeah, Annie Andrews is running on the Democratic side against the seat that was Lindsey Graham's. And we don't know who she's running against yet because there's a runoff, right? But I think what's important is, and so one of the things that I do want to talk about today is I do want to talk about Darlene Graham. I do want to talk about Darlene Graham and her ability to pull 30% of the vote, with having just filled Lindsey's seat and really not having, to my knowledge, any experience or expertise or wisdom in politics. And so it makes me wonder, did people show up to the primaries and just vote because they saw the name Graham? And is that something that the Republican Party is counting on in South Carolina? Or what is it? Because, you know what I mean? How in the world does that happen? And so it's very, very interesting to see what's transpiring. And don't get me wrong, I'm not a fan of Ralph Norman, make me vomit in my mouth, but you know what I mean? And so these are the things that I do want to talk about. Good morning, William. All right, so where to start in all of this stuff? So let's start with you. You agree? Yeah. So I do think so. Right. She said she wasn't a politician, and she's not, which, let me just say this. When independent voters do vote in primaries, Abdul. So maybe you're not clear that different states have different guidelines when it comes to primaries. So some states you are required to register as a Democrat or a Republican in order to vote in a primaries. Some states you are not. So independents can actually vote in primaries and they don't have to be registered with those parties. Sometimes in some states, you can simply, no matter how you're registered, you can ask for the particular ballot of the primary that you desire to vote in. So those election laws vary based on state. And so it's important to check with your state and see what your state's guidelines are as for how you can or need to participate in the primaries. Okay. So good morning, Helen. Good to see you. So yeah, so it's just needing to know that information. What did I miss? Why are y'all freaking out in the comments? Did I miss somebody? Did I miss something? Yeah. I mean, Liz, would you like to come up? Because you do know what I don't ever understand about people on social media? Here's what I don't understand about people on social media. If you're scrolling, right, and there is a live that comes up or a post that comes up that you don't want to engage with, that you don't like, that you disagree with it, I've never understood why, as a grown adult, you don't just fucking swoop to the next slide. I don't understand why you stop. I don't understand why you comment. I don't understand why you go, why don't you shut up? Or why don't you get off my page? Bitch, I'm not on your page. You are literally on mine. I've never understood. It just makes no sense to me. It's like you don't know how, it's like you don't know how the internet works. Or is that the need to be, I'm so victimized, you know what I mean? Because you showed up on my feed. It's an algorithm. Teach it what you like. Teach it what you like. You don't want to see me. You don't want to hear my thoughts. You don't like to hear my position. Teach the algorithm that you don't like me. Leave. It's not difficult. And here's what I think the people who choose not to do that, there is something deep down in you subconsciously that knows you need to be here. Whether you recognize it or not, whether you want to acknowledge it or believe it or not, there is something deep down in you that knows this is where you need to be, which is why not only are you here, but you continue to return. You continue to come back. Exactly. The longer they stay, the more they comment, the more they tell the algorithm, I am who they like. I think thou dost protest too much, Liz. All right. Let's get things going this morning. So when I bring you up to the panel, do me a favor, put yourself on mute until I get to you. If you're watching anywhere other than TikTok, the link to be able to join the panel is in the chat. Do I have anybody that could grab the link from YouTube and post it into, maybe you can't. Let me grab it. I will grab it and I will post it onto Facebook and Substack. So I will do that while I bring some folks up to the panel. Okay. All right, folks, when I bring you up, put yourself on mute until I get to you, and then we will get this thing rocking and rolling. Good morning, Sherry. Did you mean to request up? Sherry, did you mean to request up?
Is that me?
That is you.
Hi. Annie, I'm sorry.
That's okay. No worries. No worries. I got you. You didn't mean to request up?
No, I did not, but okay. You have a great day.
Thanks, you too. No worries. I got you. Yes, Jamie Harris did almost take Lindsey Graham's seat last time. People do not like how Lindsey Graham has represented South Carolina. I think you're right. I think that Annie Andrews is definitely a solid challenger for that position in the Senate. Straw Hat Markey, what do you mean? Against Abdul Al-Said in what way? And if you want to request up and talk about it, we can do that. So I think that, so, I mean, what are the reasons they are saying? What are the reasons that they are giving behind that? What's the argument? I guess this is my question. So, you know me, the way that I like to address things that are happening with people is I ask questions. And so if there are people saying, do not vote for the panel as a guest. All right. So Substack, I put it in the chat for you too as well. All right. Yeah, so if you have people that are saying don't vote for Abdul Al-Said because he's a Muslim, then the way that I'm going to address that is to I'm just going to very directly call it the Islamophobia and ask them what that has to do with actual policy. Can they show me where in any of his policies, in any of his agendas, in any of his plans, where his Muslim faith is playing a role? And so that would be, just very directly, that's going to be the place that I always come from. Okay. Always. So I think it's just really important to call that out straight up automatically. Yeah. And when people say he's a socialist, I think my question again is, can you define, can you share with me what him being a socialist has to do? Because him being voted into office, because number one, even though he's not a socialist, my next question for them would be, have you gone to his platform? Have you looked at his policies? Right? Do you want to know that's one of the very first things I did when I saw that David Crowley won the primary in Wisconsin, right? First thing I did this morning was go to his, first thing I did, I know, Bounty of Love. But the first thing I did was go to his website, and he's focused on two big things. So how do I have people from Wisconsin that are in this live right now? Do I have folks that are in Wisconsin that are in the live? Let me know. Do I have any Badgers? I know I have Michiganders, but do I have Badgers in here? Oh, I done missed a bunch of these comments over here. I don't know where they went, but hey, Michelle. Whoops. Yes. Yep. Okay, I got Minnesota too. Yeah, so Gen X, 1969. Let's talk about it. Oh, that's a cute donut, Sandy. By the way, Bella saw the unicorn birthday thing, that the message that you made her. She was like, oh, she was like in super duper, like she thought it was so beautiful. So Gen X, yeah, can we chat about your comment? Buckeye over there. Okay, I got you, Richard. So Gen X, do you want to join the panel? Let's talk about it, because I would love to. I mean, so here's my thing. If you have a sincere concern about Islam, right, and some Islamic takeover, then let's chat about it. I don't think that you do. I think that you're either a fake account, a troll, a minion out on a mission, or whatever. I don't think you have a real concern, because if you had a real concern, then you would be willing to have an outright discussion about it. But I don't see that coming from you. Therefore, I don't believe it to be so. Right? Just saying. Hey guys, let me handle the trolls. Okay, that would be great. So let's start with Wisconsin and this win for David Crowley, who was the Democratic preferred candidate. And he beat the Democratic Socialist that was running against him. So first thing that I want to talk about here is, how many of you all know that his opponent was leading in the polls? Did you all know that his opponent, according to the polls, although everything kept changing, it was a very up and down kind of deal. How many of you all know that they kept saying she was winning in the polls, and yet she lost? This is why I always say, do not get on the polar coaster. Do not get on the polar coaster. Polls are only as good as the people that are giving them, the people that are being polled, the design of the poll, the questions that are being asked. So it's not really like, I don't do polls. I don't let them sway me. I don't let them get me excited. I don't let them bring me down. I don't let polls take me anywhere, because it is a ride that A, I don't control, right? And B, will make you sick to your stomach. So yeah, no polls for me. I do not get on the polar coaster, okay? 2, and this is going to sound really strange, but I want y'all to hear me out and don't come for me. Don't come for me until I finish this complete thought, okay? So I am not devastated that the Democratic Socialist candidate didn't win. I'm speaking in generalities. Listen to me. I'm not talking about her as a candidate and her policies over David as a candidate and his policies. I'm talking specifically about not being devastated that the establishment Dem or the Dem of the Democratic Party won versus the Democratic Socialist. And I'm going to share with you why I'm not devastated over that. Number one, when I go to his site and I look at his policies and I look at the things that he says, I agree with them. I think they are good. The other thing that I think about the things that he said is he didn't just say things, but he has an actual plan on how to implement them. And we can talk about them and look at them together, right? So that was number one. I felt like, okay, at least we don't have whatever. Now, things that I haven't looked at, I have not looked at if he takes PAC money. I have not taken a look at to see if he has, I haven't taken a look to see if he took APAC money or whatever. And so I'm gonna do that while I'm live with you today, right? But the other reason is, and this is the very, very pragmatic side of me. Hey, Lenny, good morning. So it takes the wind out of the dangerous DSAs are coming for us, right? This thing that they want everybody to be terrified of, that the socialists are coming for the Democratic Party and the socialists are taking over the country and the socialists, right? So from that perspective, that's a glimmer, right? Does that make sense? And so this is the thing that I really want people to think of. Sometimes when we look at candidates and when we look at and strategies and outcomes or whatever, it's very, very easy to get caught up in like the emotion of how we feel about a thing because of the things that we desire for the country and because the things that we desire are so good for so many people, right? And so of course you're just like, holy shit, when it's like, but we really need universal health care, which we do, right? And understand that it is about how we get here step by step by step. And one of the things that I hope that we achieve over the next 2 to 4 years, right? Cahill, if you want to discuss universal health care, then feel free to join the panel and we can talk about it, okay? But one of the things that I want people to, what I hope we do as a country is as we make progress, what I prefer is for us to make solid, steady, less likely to be reversed progress than super fast, super extreme progress that then gets reversed as soon as there's a change in power in Congress. I want us as a country to get off of this big, huge pendulum swing from super right to super left to super right to super left. And I am not saying having centrist policies. That's not what I'm saying, because most of the country actually aligns and agrees with progressive policies. But it's about having progressive policies implemented in a way that isn't extreme and that does allow an appeal to everyone and give other people the opportunity to sit with it and be good with it. Right? So that's the part that I'm really looking forward to. That is the part that I think we ought to be working towards and going from there. So to Kay Howells, before you get muted, when you said you evil witches need to be culled, y'all tried that once. It didn't work. We're still here. And we witches will absolutely handle folks like you. So you have the absolute day that you deserve. Okay. I'm just not doing the male fragility today. I am not doing the male fragility today in any way, shape, or form. I'm not. If you think I wasn't tolerant of male fragility yesterday, I am less tolerant today of male fragility. So tread however you would like. Okay? Okay. Great. All right. Oh, now he would like to join because I muted you. Love that. So before I let you join this panel, I'm going to go over the guidelines for this space again. Okay. So number one is to be respectful, which you already haven't done in the comments. So make sure that you get on board with that before you come on my panel. Number two, do not use slurs of any kind. 3, don't spam my comments, which you can't anymore. And then last but not least, well, you can't do this one either one. Okay. So when I bring you up here, put yourself on mute until I unmute you, and then I will greet you and we will have a respectful conversation. If we don't, then you will be dropped. Okay. Great. Peach, Righteous Giggles, Peach. Good morning, Sandra. Good morning, Rivers. So good morning. How do you prefer to be addressed? It's just men children, just sad. And then this is why we choose the bear. Like, it's just dumb. Tell me that you have not come through puberty without telling me you haven't come through puberty. And you might want to get that colon check, that start and stop kind of thing. That could be a problem. Yeah, you might want to check that prostate, that colon. Yeah, you might want to, did I say colon? You might want to check that prostate, not colon. But I'm just saying. Good morning, Bedazzle. Good to see you. All right. Okay, so that's my first thought about Wisconsin, is that I'm not overly devastated at the fact that the DSA lost versus the Democratic candidate. Good morning, Big Daddy Lee. Okay. Now, here's the second thought that I had. So how many of you all that are in Wisconsin that are Badgers actually knew that a big part of his platform, when he talks about Badger basics, that he talks a lot about energy, and in his focus on energy, he is focused on data centers. How many? And this I found to be really interesting. So how many of you all knew that? So on David Crowley's website under Badger Basics, his tagline is affordability, care, and opportunity. Okay. And his 2 that he chose to focus on were housing and energy. Those are the 2 big ones. And then I'm going to I'll look into, and then he's got healthcare underneath that, and childcare and early development. And then under opportunity, he's got school to career, clear pathways from classroom to a paycheck, good jobs and economic justice for workers and small businesses. So how many of you have ever been to his website or not? How many of you have never been to David's website? Can you put a 1 in the chat for me? If you're in Wisconsin, especially. So here's what my brain tends to do when I'm looking at these candidates and I go to their website. Number one, I'm looking to see not just what their claim is, not just what they would like to do, right? Not just what they, he's a Democrat. So here's the thing. He is, he is a Democrat. So things that you may or may not know about him, which we're going to talk about. So he started in 2005 in organizing with an organization called Urban Underground. And then he, in 2010, joined Russ Feingold's campaign for Senate. And then he was elected to the Wisconsin State Assembly in 2016. Okay. In 2017, he co-sponsored the Assembly Joint Resolution 10, which declares that abortion is health care. Okay. Thanks, Bobby. In 2020, he became the youngest and the first Black county executive elected in Milwaukee County history. I'm just giving you like what's on the site, right? Just giggles. And then in 2023, he helped lead the passage of Wisconsin Act 12, which was a bipartisan bill to increase shared revenue for municipalities and counties across Wisconsin. He was part of the largest property tax cut in Milwaukee County history in 2023. And then in 2025 is when he launched his campaign to become the governor. So that's a little bit of history, okay? The things that I wanted to look at are when I look at his site, and let me share my screen with you guys over here. So let me show you. So when you look at his site, the thing that I immediately was drawn to, right? Oh, I love that, Lulu Bell. So the first thing that I noticed is when he says, so housing, build more, expand ownership, keep people housed, build more housing statewide is his first things. And typically what I'm used to seeing from a candidate is build more housing statewide. And that's it. There's no real plan on how to make that happen. And he's actually got 4 separate bullet points. And I'm going to share with you what they look like, right? So support zoning flexibility. So duplexes, fourplexes, ADUs, and small multi-unit buildings can be built where people already live and work. Wisconsin can allow these housing types, quote unquote, by right, without special permits or neighborhood hearings, through incentive grants that reward cities for updating their codes, and where necessary, state legislation that ensures no community is left behind by outdated zoning rules. ADUs are especially practical, adding units on already developed land without new infrastructure costs. And so that's a pretty well thought out idea. And my whole point is it's not about whether this is ready to go and it's going to be implemented and it's going to be great. I like the fact that he's got a thought out plan on how he would like to get it done, right? Under expanding affordable home ownership and protect starter homes. He's got increased funding for the Housing Cost Reduction Initiative for down payment assistance and wealth building through home ownership. Make Housing Cost Reduction Initiative dollars more flexible so that funding can shift to where demand is the highest, helping help get to families faster instead of sitting unused. And then giving municipalities the option to set guardrails on bulk investor purchases of single and 2-family homes, because starter homes should go to first-time buyers, not corporate investors buying up neighborhoods. So these things don't alarm me. I feel like, okay, great. So here's the part that caught my eye. Under energy, he's got make big tech pay for the grid, not Wisconsin families. And I'm going to read what it says, and then I'm going to give you my thoughts. Hey, Cam. And so he says, number 1, require large data center developers to invest in virtual power plants, VPPs, coordinating home batteries, smart appliances, and distributed storage as a first resort strategy before seeking approval to build new fossil fuel generation. This approach will bring hundreds of megawatts online in months at a fraction of the cost of new gas plants and benefit consumers, right? Require mega users like data centers to pay the full cost of grid upgrades they drive. Establish clear environmental guardrails on water usage, energy sourcing, stringent energy efficiency, building codes, and emissions so data center growth doesn't come at the expense of Wisconsin communities or natural resources. So my immediate thought with this is, ooh, I don't like this. And it's not that I don't like the idea of him saying we need to make them share the cost. We need to make them cover the cost. We need to make them be safe for the environment. My initial thing is, why the fuck are you not against data centers? That's my thought. My immediate thought is wait a minute. I don't hear any pushback about the number of data centers. I don't hear any pushback about the concern for data centers or what they're being used for, or the storage of our data, or flock cameras, or AI, or any of those things. All I hear is data centers are inevitable. We're going to have a shit ton of them. Let's make them do A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. And that makes me go, ooh, I don't really know, which is one of the reasons why I would love to have him come on and talk about it. So here's what I would say. Okay. This is the type of thing, if you're in Wisconsin, this is the thing that I would say to you is go to the candidate's website, read it, and then ask questions and think about what they're saying. Do they have high-level items, or do they have actual plans? Right? Do they have actual plans? Because do you know the next thing that I did after going to his site and just reading that little snippet there about the data centers? the next thing that I did was I went to Project for the People to the Wisconsin folder to see how many data centers Wisconsin has, how many are in different congressional districts, how many are already operational, how many are planned, how many are under construction. And that would be the conversation I would want to have with him. These would be my questions if I lived in Wisconsin and I was talking to this potential representative. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe. Because that's the whole reason. So listen, when we look at like what can we use Project for the People for? Project for the People isn't just about being able to hold your or being able to share information with people that are in your circles and in your community and all of that, but using that data to ask very informed questions of the people that are running for office. Does he even know those numbers? That's what I would want to know is, do you know the numbers? So if I look in Wisconsin, here's what I know is right now there are 12, 16, 17 plus 9 is 20, 26, that's 40. There are 46. There are 46 data centers in the state of Wisconsin. And there are, let me see, 3, 5, 9, 14, 18, 22, 23 of them. So half are already operational. So 46 total in Wisconsin, half already operational, the other half either planned or under construction. And so that's the question that I would have, right? And I would want to know what does he think about that? Because while what he's saying now about having them pay for the grid and to do this and these virtual power centers and all of that, how does that hold up when it's double? And then what about the protection of the people? What do you mean, Ricky? He claims to audit the state, and your state legislature is a Republican ran. I'm not sure what you're trying to say. Can you join the panel and articulate it for me? I sent you an invite. Oh, that's nothing compared to all the other ones. Some of the other states are it's actually alarming. If you have not been into the Project for the People data drive, the Google Drive, and looked at your data centers, I highly recommend that you do. There's 490 graphics, and I have 40 of them already up. But if you're somebody that, I'm just saying, there's more that I've put together for you guys as well. But you might want to look at your like what's actually planned for your state. So okay, Ricky, that's okay. Then you have just a salad. If you signed up for Project for the People, then you got an email and it may have gone to your spam or your promotions folders. So what I would recommend doing is searching your entire email for Dani. Just put Dani in the search bar and you'll pull up anything that's come from me. Okay. All right. So when I bring you to the panel, folks, do me a favor, put yourself on mute until I get to you. And then I actually want to help you guys and give you some data center information in just a second, okay? Yeah, you're welcome. No worries.
Against her.
Good morning, Elroy. How are you? Elroy, did you mean to request that? That's a hard no. That's a no. Hazel Arts, how are you? Did you mean to request that, friend? I don't think so. He might have to deal with people. Okay. So just for information, and I would love for you guys over here, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, Substack, to participate as well. Can you drop your state in the comments? And if you don't want to put your state and your congressional district, that's fine. But at a minimum, can you give me a state? Okay, so I've got South Carolina, I got Ohio, I'll do 5. I got New York, Florida, Texas, Jesus. Okay, so let me just stop right there. Hold on, I'll do some more, okay? So let's do it. Okay, and I'm gonna grab Missouri because Missouri came in from Facebook. Okay, so watch. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm actually going to share information, and I'm going to do it this way because the other ones, so when I did the data center graphics, Texas came in from YouTube, so I'll take Texas from YouTube as well. Okay, so listen. So when I do the graphics, there's literally the data center graphics, there's 490 of them. And so I have to like label each of them and then upload it into the Google Drive and put them in the right congressional district. And so it's very taxing. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to open the graphic itself because it's easier for me to navigate right now than popping in and out of the Google Drive. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen over here for you guys. And TikTok, you know that they will get me if I show my screen too much over here on this side of the world. So what I'll do is every now and again, I'll pop over and I'll just like turn the camera around and show you the graphics as I'm talking about them. Okay. If you have never seen this map was done using a collection of data by Politico. Politico is just top of the line when it comes to facts and information. And they did an analysis of the data center map from the US Census Bureau. And because data centers is such an ever-growing, fast-growing thing, it might not be like up to date, but it's a great snapshot to even give you an idea of what's on the way. So first things first is I'm going to share this map with you all so that you all can see what the data center situation looks like in the country. So I'm going to show you what it looks like by district as well. So this is for the entire country. And I've done the same thing in Spanish for folks. And the source information is here as well for you. Okay. So this is what it looks like. And it's actually going to show you if the district that they are in is Republican or Democrat. And then it's actually going to show you the number. So the smaller the circle, the smaller the number of data centers. So there's 10, 40, 100, and then as many as 370. Okay. So what I'm going to do now is I'm actually going to take the states that you've given me and I'm going to show you what those look like. And then I'll run through your congressional districts as well as your overall state. Okay. For those of y'all who do not know, I took this data and then made all of these graphics. There's 490 of them to put them into Project for the People for you so that you could easily access it, have graphics that you could share with your friends and your family members, with your social media followers, with all of those folks, because this is information that most people don't have and we need to have and we should be concerned about. So first things first, I'm going to go down here to Florida. And it's a lot. I know you guys over there are like, holy shit, because I'm scrolling really fast. Just bear with me because I have to get down to Florida. All right, so Florida, we're going to do this thing together. You ready? So here we go. So this is what Florida looks like. These are all of your congressional districts, and then you have the total number of data centers, and then you're going to have whether they are operational, whether they are under construction, or whether they are planned. Do you see that? And so then what I did was I took this graphic and then I did individual ones for each of your congressional districts. So for example, Florida 2, you have 4 total and they are all already operational. For Florida 3, you have 1 and it's already operational. You have 4 in Florida 4. You have 2 in Florida 4. They're both operational. Florida 5 has 6. But see how this one, you've got 2. One is operational, one is planned in Florida District 6. In Florida 10, you got 7 operational, One more. Do you see what I'm doing? Florida 14, you have 17 data centers, folks. 17. I want to say that again. Florida 14, you have 17 data centers. And so what I have done is put this in here so that you can actually ask questions of the people that are running for office on a local level, on a state level, on a congressional level, on your gubernatorial level. It's really important that you look at what we're talking about and what's happening in your state and how it's going to impact you. Some of these have not been approved. Some of them have. What stage are they in? What was the process? Do you know that some of these places, because this data center thing is so new, there's not actually like a required process to go through, right? And so you got to know, did it have to come up for a vote? Did it come up for a vote? Like what happened? Did the public get to weigh in on it? What's the process? Should you get state legislation that changes the process for data centers? Right? Should you do that? Should you not? I'm going to look really quickly. There was one that I wanted to find, and it might have been, yeah, that was the big one. Florida 14 was the big one. So I've done Florida. Next, I'm going to go to Missouri. All right, Missouri folks, I'm coming to you. I think the Missouri came in from Facebook. So I'm going to give you your information for Missouri. And I'm going to share with you all what it looks like. And then Wisconsin, yes, I'm going to show you because your elected officials specifically talked about data centers. And so I think that these would be great information to talk to David Crowley about, since he's got this idea about what data, what we should require of them. I think I would want to know, well, why do we need so damn many? So yeah, okay, here we go. Mississippi. I told you it's a lot of graphics. So Missouri, this is what you look like in terms of data centers. You're welcome, Recreation. So Missouri, this is you, babes. And I just want you to look at Missouri 3. You have 19 total. 3 of them are operational. 16 are planned. Did you hear me? So let me show you real quick. I'll just start here. Missouri 6, you got 11 total. 5 are operational, 1 under construction, 5 are planned. 22 total for Missouri 5. 12 are operational, 2 are under construction, 8 are planned. These are Missouri 3, 19 total, 3 operational, 16 planned. So if you have concerns, right, because they're near lakes and aquifers, which is crazy, which is absolutely crazy, you know, I want to see how you guys are doing over here on this side of the world. Hey, Pentonton, you want Tennessee? Okay. And so I did these because I want you to be equipped with really relevant information and hold these folks' feet to the fire. They should have to answer for that. Yeah, Jamie. So that's Missouri. I'm going to show you Ohio really quickly. These are the states that I took real quick from you guys to show you what it looks like. North Carolina, Dakota. Here we go. So Ohio, yours is pretty significant as well. Ohio, these are your data center locations. Okay. And to give you an idea of what they look like, we'll go to look at some of them. So Ohio 4, you have 17 total, 10 in operation, 3 under construction, 4 are planned. Ohio 10, 8 total, 7 operational, 1 planned. Look at this one. Ohio 15, 40 data centers. 35 of them are already operational. 1 is under construction and 4 more are planned. If you look, 41 in Ohio 12, 11 operational, 11 under construction, 11 planned. That equals 33. I'm missing something here. Probably a typo. I'll fix it. Because when you're doing 500 graphics, sometimes shit fucks up. And I'm a human being. But so for those of you guys that are asking me and you keep, yeah, we need some, but we don't need this number of them, right? And the purpose of these, so you got to ask yourself, like, what has happened? What has changed that all of a sudden we need a shit ton of data centers everywhere? What's happened other than the fact that there are things that are changing in this country that indicate they would like for us to go to a surveillance state? What do they need data centers to store information for? Right? Whether you're looking at whether you are looking at your AI information, whether you're looking at flock cameras, whether you are looking at things like Pegasus and things like that, it's important, folks, for us to get really, really clear about what this stuff looks like and what's the need for it. TikTok, if you don't stop moving shit around, please. They are 100% moving things around. And now I have to figure out where they put my board again, because there it is. Okay. So listen, there's absolutely no way that I can go through all 50 states and every congressional district and give you all of your data centers information. What I did say that I would do is that I would take 5 or 6 states and I would show them to you. So that's what I'm doing right now. If you want access to this information, folks, because I do make all of this available to you, you need to join Project for the People. You sign up, you'll get an email from me, and that email gives you a link to this Google Drive. I only ask for a couple of things. I ask that you don't remove the logos or watermarks because you didn't do the fucking work. And then I ask that you don't share the Google Drive directly, but you share the contents of the Google Drive. And if you want to share something so that other people can sign up to get access to the information, then you just share the domain name that I bought, which is makingamericatruelygreat.com. And you'll get this information, you'll get graphics on Medicaid, and you'll get graphics on SNAP, and graphics on poverty levels, and graphics on uninsured because of the tax subsidies expired. You'll get voter registration deadlines and information. You'll get working adults working on Medicaid stats, potential legislations, access to petitions. There's all types of information that is in here that's available to you. And I've done the work. All you have to do, so you can either scan that QR code that is right there in that sticker, or you can go to making, like ING, making americatruelygreat.com. And then that's how you sign up. We currently have people in 49 states across the country that have joined. We are in over 540 of the country's counties. There's only 3,100 counties in the entire country, right? And in 4.5, almost 5 months, we are now in almost 20% of them. And so the purpose of this is to use this information for people to get involved, for you to share this information, for you to go out. I got people that knock doors. I got people that put up flyers in grocery stores and libraries, community centers, all of those different types of things. This is how we get together and we do the work. And then we meet every other Thursday. So we meet tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I send out an email with the link to join the meeting. When you join the meeting, we talk about the new graphics that have been uploaded, which there are quite a few since last time. We also role play how to have conversations with the people in your life so that people know this information, right? And so that's it. And why do this work? Because for too long, the majority of the people have been absent from the process in our democracy. We have left it up to politicians or corporations and their greed, right? And it is definitely time that we do something different. And so that means we have to get engaged in the process. And so part of that engagement is understanding that we are the process, and that politics is not some abstract things. Politics is the policy that influences and impacts the lives of people. That's what politics really is. Politics isn't elections and campaigns. That shit is not politics. That's the game. Politics is actually policy and how it impacts the lives of people. And if you want your life to be impacted differently, then you must get involved in influencing policy. And the way that you do that is by getting like neck deep involved in what's going on and holding the people that you elect accountable and doing everything within your power to change the way the game is played and change the people that are playing the game. Okay? All right. So really quickly, I'm going to do New York, then South Carolina, and then Texas. Those are the last 3 states that I picked up. Okay. So let me show you. All right. Let me get in here real quick. Who did I say? I said South Carolina. No, New York. New York is next. Sorry, guys. I skipped New York. I know whoever said New York was like screaming when I skipped New York, but here we go. I got you. So New York, this is what you look like. Boop, boop, boop. I'll show you guys over here as well before I move it over. So New York, this is what you look like. So in New York 26, there are 19 total, 17 operational, 2 are planned. There's 4 total, 4 are operational, and 24, there's 13 total, 10 operational, 3 are planned. New York 21, 5 total, 3 operational, 1 under construction, and 1 is planned. 10 are operational and 20. I see you guys signing up for Project for the People. Love that. And what I'm going to do, somebody asked me for it the other day. I will make a quick video showing how I navigate the Google Drive. Okay, so that's New York. I'm not doing all the states, Sue. I only took some states from the comments from the chat and going from there. So if you guys that are just signing up for Project for the People, hold on, sit tight, don't go anywhere. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you some screenshots so that you know what is available to you in the drive when you get in there. Okay. So really quickly, I'm going to do South Carolina and Texas, and then I'm going to show you those screenshots. Now, listen, let me also say this to you all. I understand that this is not as fun or sexy or entertaining. I think it's sexy as fuck, but it's not as entertaining as watching people scream at each other and call each other names on this app and debate things and have gotcha moments. However, we are more interested in this space and things that are going to make a difference and change the outcomes moving forward than we are in just being entertained. If you want to be entertained, log off of TikTok and go watch Love Island. But if you really want to have access to information that is significant, that can change the way that that our systems actually work for us and change the systems themselves, then this is the type of live that you would want to be in. And I'm not the only person out there that does these types of lives, but I will speak for what happens in my space and in my live, right? So if you are tired of the other bullshit rhetoric that doesn't change anything, and you want to be involved in a community that is interested in information that matters, then this might be where you want to come hang out on a regular basis. So this is South Carolina. So South Carolina, you might want to be talking to Ralph Norman or Darlene Graham or Annie Andrews about data centers, because this is what South Carolina looks like. And when you get here in South Carolina District 4, you have 16. Only 5 are currently operational, but 11 are planned. That's huge. 5 total in South Carolina, 5, 2 under construction, 3 are planned. 6 operational, 1 under construction, and 6. 11 in South Carolina, 1, all operational. And that's the Spanish version. So again, oh, thanks, Stephanie. Appreciate that. And so now I'm going to do Texas for you. All right. And yes, Veronica is correct. If you bring a new friend to the Project for the People meeting tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, then you will get your name thrown into a raffle for some free Project for the People merch. So we have t-shirts and hats and mugs and tote bags and car stickers and door knockers and tank tops and hoodies. It's about to be fall. So all of that happens. And if you attend for the first time ever, if you attend a meeting, there will be a special code tomorrow, a discount code. And with that discount code, you get $10 off any order of $50 in terms of merch. So there you go. Let me give you next. I'm going to go to Texas. And I will show you what. And listen, for those of you guys who are wondering, everything is bigger in Texas, including data centers. Including data centers, folks. I just want you to look at what Texas looks like. That is Texas. So Goth Boy, all of the meetings are recorded, and I email out a link with those so that you can watch them. So this is what Texas looks like. In Texas, 1329 total, 10 are operational, 19 are planned. 26 total in Texas, 19, 17 are under construction right now as we speak. And let us know, Goth Boy, like if it's something that comes with that, and you know, we can still honor a discount code because you're working. But this is something that you ought to know. If you live in Texas 23, you might want to know that you're looking at 35 total. You might want to know what these look like all across your state. Now, let me just say this to you guys. If you look up here at the main map, and then when you go into an individual one and the numbers are different, please just let me know. That's all you have to do, because I am a human being. And so sometimes when I'm working on 500 graphics and it's 2 a.m, sometimes I hit the wrong key or I type the wrong number. So just let me know and I can get it fixed and then get it uploaded and we're all good. Okay. So if you notice my humanity in the middle of the graphics, please just let me know and don't hold it against me, because we're doing the best we can. Okay. Appreciate that. Good morning, folks. Appreciate you over here. So yeah, so this is all, it's all important information. And so the reason that I got here this morning was because of what happened in Wisconsin. And so for those of you guys that maybe you're just joining and you weren't here when I first talked about this, yeah, I'm definitely human. It's mine, Joanne. So that's actually my personal Google Drive. And so what I did was I put together a Google Drive full of resources for people. It's called Project for the People. The QR code is down here in the corner. If you go to makingamericatruly.great.com, it will tell you what this initiative is all about. And then you can register if you want to get access to the data and the graphics. For all of the graphics, this part's important. For all of the graphics that you see in this drive, that's giving you actual data. Okay. There's a folder in the Google Drive that actually says sources and links. So you guys, I can show you straight off the bat, because I'll just share my screen. You guys give me a second and I'll show you. So I'm going to share my screen right here with you guys. So do you see right here where it says source, links, and docs for you guys and for you all? Let me see if I can show you what it looks like. Where is the, thanks. Hold on. I'm trying to find the right little thing to show you guys. Is this it? Nope. Not me doing the back tap and accidentally screenshotting my own stuff. I'm trying to find the overall shot that shows you what all is in here. There. So see right here where it says sources, links, and docs. So in the Google Drive, you have access to nationwide resources, potential legislations, along with sample petitions, a webinar that tells you what Project for the People is about, along with an Excel spreadsheet to get connected with people that are in your local county and your community. And then, of course, the document with sources and links, and then your state resources. Your state resources looks like, so that's the sources. But so your state looks like this. You find your state, then you'll get into your state, and I have all 50 states. Then you'll get into your congressional district. And that's the sample legislations. But when you get into your congressional district, you'll see it is in English and in Spanish, right? And so when you get in there, then you're going to see graphics about Medicaid and SNAP and uninsured, or data centers, or your poverty levels, or no more culture wars, your poverty level for the U.S. population for your particular state. All of that is what is in the Google Drive and made available to you for you to use. If you operate a Google Drive for work, you can access all the information. It's not difficult. It's one of the reasons why I put it in a Google Drive, and I'll do a little video just walking you all through it. So the whole idea is for us to become accurately informed individuals so that we can ask the right questions of our potential candidates, and we can hold our elected officials accountable. And then understand that not everybody is going to be is going to be out when we want them to be out. This is going to be a forever process, right? And I really want you all to kind of sit with that for a moment and understand that we can never, if we haven't learned, for me, if we haven't learned anything over the last 10 years, is that we cannot afford to check out of our democracy again. We can never, ever afford to check out of the democratic process for this constitutional republic that we live in. The consequences are too significant. It is too easy to see protections rolled back. It is too easy to see loopholes be exploited. It is too easy to see corporations with hundreds of millions and billions of dollars supersede and override the will of the people. And we can't do that. Okay? Betty, did you mean to request up? Betty, did you mean to request up? I'm guessing not. Okay, so can I share with you guys some new graphics that I made? I'm kind of excited. And there's even graphics that some of the subscribers haven't seen. So Lynn, if you're in there, you need to go to your state, go to Tennessee, go to state resources. And then when you're in state resources, scroll down to Tennessee. Now, right now, so Lynn, let me just tell you this, the statewide ones there's 490 of those individual graphics for each congressional district. And I don't have all 490 uploaded yet. I messaged Kat this morning, and she and I are going to team up today, and anybody else that might be interested, and we're going to hop on a Google Meet and get them uploaded together. So Juan Quille, I'm not sure your name. Do me a favor and don't spam the comments. Okay? Yeah, so JP and NC, let's talk about it. I sent you an invitation to join the panel. because I always find it interesting. No worries, Kat. I always find it interesting when people say things like that, like you just said, we will end up right back here again. So first, let me just say thanks for accepting the invite to come up. So let's talk about that. What makes you say we're just going to end up right back here again?
So, good morning.
Good morning.
First time being on your show, watch you all the time.
Okay.
This is how I feel. This last election exposed this country's shortcomings to a point where if we do not wake up and realize that we do have these serious, like Democrats, well, President Obama, Kamala Harris, they both, and even Hillary Clinton, to some extent, has said, people don't realize how fragile this democracy is. And they used to say it all the time, but I don't think nobody really paid that any attention. This last administration has come in and showed just how fragile this democracy is. So, to me, this guy is exploiting all of the loopholes. And Republicans, they don't care. They're doing whatever they're doing, right? Well, if we get power again, Democrats, to me, if you know the Supreme Court has just went off the rails. It's not doing what it's designed to do to protect the citizens of the United States. It's doing whatever this guy and this administration really wants. He's not getting everything he wants, but he's getting, they told this guy he has immunity. Are we serious? So what I wrote in the comments, I said, if these Supreme Court justices aren't impeached, because it will take Congress and the Senate. If we win again and they sit there and they do nothing, we'll have another rogue Supreme Court. There's no term limits. They'll be in there for life. That is a problem for the young people, because these people on the Supreme Court at their age have no connection to the children growing up today. They are living in past times. So that's the Supreme Court, my issue with that. My issue with the Constitution, I am not a constitutional scholar or anything like that, or close. But my problem is there is things in the Constitution that have been rolled back. There is rights that have been rolled back. If the Democrats win again and they do not solidify the rights and the autonomy for all people and women, if they do not make a law or some kind of, I don't know what you would call it, but do something to make sure that this never happens again. Because the reason it is happening is because it was never strong enough. And so we just thought we had these rights. We thought that we would have them forever. And this person came into office with the people, and it's not this person. I want to make that clear. This person is just a car. He's not the fuel. It is the fuel behind him that has been planning this for decades. I've been watching, I've been listening, and I've been learning. And I know it's not just the person in office. It is the machinery behind him. I have seen you talk about that whatever they call that, what the Heritage Foundation been working on for the past, 50 years, that they finally got somebody dumb enough that they can control to do what they need to get done. Okay, so if the Democrats, if we win the House and the Senate, we don't have the presidency. Okay, I understand. But if we get the House and the Senate and they do not seriously amend that, make amendments to that Constitution to protect what this democracy is supposed to stand by, then that's why I say this will happen again, because they haven't changed it. All they did was won. They got power now, but it's not going to change what needs to be changed. If you're scared to change what really needs to be changed, then you shouldn't be there. Like Dani went in New York. They're scared of that because they just think that, oh, socialism is this bad word like communism. The American propaganda machine is insane. But that guy is doing what's best for his citizens in one state, in one city. So he's looking out how the government should be doing for the citizens in the entire country. And they're just simply not doing it. They don't care. And so when Democrats try to do things, Republicans go in and tear it down, tear it up. No, we're not doing that, because there's no interest for them to take care of citizens. They don't even take care of their own voters. They just, like I've learned over time, they're just picking their pockets clean. And as long as they got privilege, that's all they seem to care about. But if so, just back to what I started with. If they don't change it, we'll be back here because nothing was done. All they did was win some elections.
Okay, so let's talk about it. Hella, Raja. Okay, so let's talk about it. So we are aware that things have to be done that make significant change. So has anybody ever done the very fun thing of looking up exactly what it would take to get done the very thing that you want to get done? Because I did that this morning. I went through and I was like, what would it take to overturn in law, right, the provisions granted to corporations via Citizens United? And here's what I found is that how many of you guys know the answer to that question? And this is why so many people are hesitant about what Hawaii did with HB 2471. And so I want to talk about it. So just bear with me, JP. Hold with me, right? But how many of you guys have ever said, okay, internet, tell me, if I want to codify into law provisions that would eliminate the finding or the decision from the Supreme Court and Citizens United, what would that take? How many of you guys have ever done that? Put a 1 in the chat if you've ever looked up what it would take to do that in Congress. Or put a 2 if you haven't done that, because I don't see any ones. Put a 2 if you've never looked that up. Okay, maybe that was easier, right? Okay, so I did that. And here are the things that I found. So we already know. So long story short, it would require a constitutional amendment. How many of you all didn't know? Put a 1 if you did not know that it would require a constitutional amendment to do it that way. And the reason why is because the Supreme Court when the Supreme Court said the ruling, the basis for Citizens United was the First Amendment, okay, then that made it connected to the Constitution. So anything else is going to be deemed, quote unquote, unconstitutional. Now, the key for Hawaii is going to be the level and the scope in which they did it, because states still run their own elections. And so I'm not arguing the law about Hawaii's bill versus Citizens United and all of that, okay? But that's number 1. Or a court case that would go before the Supreme Court arguing on the grounds of whether spending your money as a corporation is or is not free speech. But what's another thing that could be done? So, because I'm always looking for the workaround. So number 1, here's my thought process. I think that there are things that you can do in the meantime. And I think that it is time that the progressive majority do what the Republican Party does. The same way the Republican Party they instituted tariffs. They've done all kind of shit that end up being struck down as unconstitutional, but it takes them a minute to get through the courts, right? So I'm okay with I'm okay with an executive order or a state law that shuts them damn corporations down in terms of their money in our politics while that court case has to go through the court system. Right? Make them fuckers work for it, number one. Okay? Number two, wouldn't it be beautiful to reduce the insane amount of corporate money and dark money in politics while it has to go through the courts? That's what they do. They're like, shit, we might get overturned in court, we might not. But until then, these are the things that we can get accomplished. So that would be number one with regard to that. The reason why I brought you up, JP, is in this space, and you listen to me a lot, so I know that you know this. I talk a lot about speaking what you want and not what you don't. I don't ever want to end up back here again. And I know that we don't have to. So what I'm not going to say is, oh, if we don't do this, we're going to end up back here again. What I would rather say is, if we do this, we never come back here. And that's just a switch in terms of your mindset and the way that you are choosing to look at what's in front of you. One is rooted in negativity and pessimism and almost despair. The other is rooted in optimism, hope, and action. And that last one is the difference, right? Here's the thing. I'm not sitting around here telling you all to visualize yourself into a new country. Nope. I'm saying, yes, absolutely focus on what you want to create. And then you better be about doing the fucking work that's required to make it happen. Because visualization and positive words ain't going to do it. You better be at the voting booth. You better become informed. You better start knowing the information so that you can have like real involvement and activism in getting the things that you need for you and your loved ones. So I really want people to make that shift. It is perfectly fine, acceptable, reasonable to understand that if we don't make change, we'll end up back here. But there's a way to say that, and there's a way to present it that taps into a different energy. It feels different to say, man, if we don't fix this shit, if we don't close the loopholes, we're going to end up right back here. Versus if we use the power that we are about to have, we can close these loopholes and always be progressing, never come back to this place ever again for us, for our children, and for our grandchildren. And the beautiful thing about that, the exciting thing about that is that it's completely up to us.
Can I just say this, Dani? What you just said was absolutely correct. But this country showed us that it doesn't want to progress.
No, it did not. That's bullshit. No, it didn't.
To me, when they went out and, okay, this person has already been in office one time and showed where the direction of where they were trying to go. He didn't really understand it yet. The people behind him was trying to tell him, but he was like a bull in a china shop. He didn't understand what he was doing. This is just my opinion. But when the country came out and did it a second time, when this person said out loud what this would be, what this would look like, to me, okay, I'm part of the 86% black men, and you're part of the 91 or 92% of black women. We knew the assignment. Mm-hmm. To me, there was a part of this country that heard what he said, what was coming, what was going to happen, and this country said, yes, we want to go there. That's what all I'm saying is, you're talking about progressive.
I hear you.
I grew up in the 70s, the 80s, the 90s. And if you ask me, this is my opinion. Okay. This is when I grew up. Mm-hmm. That was the freest black people have ever been in this country.
That's because your ass didn't live in Reconstruction.
Okay, no, I did not. But I'm saying, coming from, my parents didn't have the same freedoms growing up that I had.
Right. I'm aware, but follow me. Right. But listen, here's the other part. so listen. So there are some people who heard the things that POTUS said as a candidate. And they were like, yes, I want that. And there's between 80 and 90 million other people, far more than said yes to him. Far more. 77 million Americans said yes to him. And almost 90 million Americans did not say anything at all. Almost 90 Americans were either so overwhelmed, so underinformed, misinformed, or disinformed, or so overworked, so underpaid, so tired, so sick, so homeless, so focused on simply trying to keep a roof over their head that they were not engaged in the process. Right. He did not get a mandate from this country, and the majority of Americans did not co-sign this bullshit. And everyone is suffering because of that. And those are just the facts. And so again, this is the mindset. This is that little piece that I keep saying. I could either look at the election results and I could say, oh, well, because he won the election, right? Because he's POTUS, that means this is what the majority of the country wanted, and this is how horrible this country is. Or I could say this election was a demonstration of how, when the majority of the people don't truly want something, you can absolutely overwhelm them, overwork them, underpay them, undereducate them, under healthcare them, and put them in a position where they sit back and they give up the power that they have. And listen, when you can get people to give up their power, it's a lot easier and better than if you have to take it from them. Because when you take power, people revolt.
Yeah.
And that's the key. So right now, what Americans did, what U.S. citizens did in the 2024 election is many of them gave up the power that they had to make things different. And then others just simply didn't even have the bandwidth for it. And it's crazy because, like, if you're really into politics, you go, how could you not have the bandwidth for it? But then again, you're not the one who is maybe 2 months behind on rent and facing eviction, and you don't have enough money to buy groceries, and your SNAP benefits got cut, and you're just fucking and you're just like, the last thing I can do is afford to take off work to go fucking vote.
Yeah, well, that's the system that they created. That's what they had. That's what they want.
And so the beautiful, when you say they, who's they?
I'm talking about, in my opinion, okay?
Yeah.
This is the white American playbook. This is the playbook that has become Republicans' playbook so that we don't vote. So that this guy said it perfectly. He loves the uneducated. Well, we have a large population that is uneducated. They don't pay attention to this stuff. And like you said, they're overworked. They're working. They don't have time. They're trying to take care of their families. I understand that. And I have no answer for why 90 million people didn't vote. I don't know. I know I voted because I paid attention, I guess. You know, so I may have misspoke. I don't think that the majority of the people in the country really wanted this. I'm saying the people that went out and voted, this guy got more votes, man. And they went out and voted for this crap at the detriment of the entire country.
And there are some people, let me also say this, folks. I really need y'all to get this. There are certain phrases and certain things I want every progressive and Democrat to stop fucking saying. I want all of us to stop saying, oh, he likes the uneducated. Because it is the people that you are referring to, right? That we need to become accurately informed and get on this side of the future. They were on the wrong side of history, but they can get on the right side of the future. And they are not going to do that when people seem condescending and belittling to them. And I do not believe that all of those people are quote unquote uneducated. I know a lot of uneducated people that voted in this election and a lot of uneducated people that voted Democrat in this election. There's a difference between being uninformed or inaccurately informed or just plain ignorant. And then because so when we talk about education, there's this thing where we talk about it's an insult to someone's intellect.
Well. Okay, so I understand where you're going with that. I understand that. Here's my thing. I'm just gonna say what the thing is to me, what I feel like it is. I'm tired of coddling these people. Okay, so my thing is common sense. You either have it or you don't. Okay, people can have book smarts all you want, but if you ain't got common sense, then
so question.
We're in a strange place.
Question, JP, do I coddle people?
Well, what you just said.
No, but I'm asking, do I coddle people?
Well, no. I mean,
but do I?
Somebody's ass. I've seen you. I've heard you.
Mm-hmm.
You'll get into it. When you said, we got to stop saying the uneducated, whatever. We got to try and get these people over to us. In my brain, when I hear you say that, I'm not saying that you're calling them. What I'm saying is that's us saying that's just like the MAGA voters who, I'm sorry, I did the wrong thing. I shouldn't have done that, right? And then you hear people say, well, you shouldn't be putting them down or whatever if you want them to come over. No, I'm tired of the whole history seems to me, I'm a black man, this whole Southern hospitality thing, because black people had to say, yes, sir, no, ma'am.
I didn't say kiss their ass, and I didn't say be hospitable. I just said don't be insulting.
Okay, right.
That's
don't
it.
Be insulting.
I didn't say. So listen. So this is the thing that I'm saying. And very quickly, Winter, do me a favor. Please do not put anything about elections not being accurate in my chat. I do not do election conspiracy theories in any way, shape, or form. And I do not want the integrity of my live questioned or taking a hit from TikTok. So please don't do that. Listen, there's a difference. And this is where I need y'all to hear me. Okay. And let me just be clear. No, what I'm about to say is not quote unquote fair. No, it's not. So whatever you consider to be well known does not mean that there's any facts or data to back it up. And you will get my live hurt on TikTok by saying those things. So listen, folks, here's what I'm saying. Okay. There's a way to be accurate about where we are and what is happening, and acknowledge groups of people that have voted for this particular administration, this president, without being demeaning. I'm just simply asking every single one of us to walk in integrity and not be insulting. I can hold you the fuck accountable. I can get all the way in your ass and not insult you as a person. I don't have to insult who you are as a person. And I don't want to be someone that can only make points if I disparage you, if I insult you as a person.
So I understand that. So you want to take the high road.
It's not the high road. It's the road.
So, but you say, listen, we're going to turn around and do exactly what the Republicans do. If you take it to court, but we'll stop it right now. So if we say you got to pay taxes, we write an executive order, then you take it to court. In the meantime, you just pay.
So executive orders don't work like that for taxes, though.
Well, that's not. I'm just trying to throw
okay.
Out there.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Give an example.
Yeah.
But okay, so what I'm saying is when you were growing up, my parents used to always say, "A hard head
make a soft ass."
Mm-hmm. Okay, so in this country, the system was set up for white people. Period. This everything.
And men, yes.
Yes. Okay. It was set up for them.
Yeah.
And I'm saying it's just time that we stop. I'm not worried about them. No, they ain't never worried about us. Except to be in our business. But other than that, they've never worried about us.
Do I look worried about them?
No. Let me finish.
Go ahead.
I'm saying I'm tired of. I don't care about the feelings. I don't care if it insults them. You should be smart enough to know that when somebody is telling you something It's not. We're not necessarily insulting you. You just need to wake up, man. You need to realize, what's happening. So if you want to continue to walk around in a fog since the beginning and not pay attention, I'm sorry if it's insulting you, but a lot of this shit is just common sense. And to me, it's very simple, because why did the phrase ever become a thing by saying, you're voting against your own interests? How do you not want to understand that? Okay, farmers were engaged. Farmers were out here. They were doing interviews. Now you ain't got nobody to work your farms. Now you can't harvest your crops. Now this guy we're importing beef from other countries, whatever. Okay, they were informed. So I'm not gonna feel sorry for you. I'm not going to talk to you all nicey and say,
JP, hold on one second. Dan, you've said the same thing 3 different times now. So here's what I'm going to ask you to do. I'm going to ask you to either join the panel, Dan Gen X, so that we can have the conversation with you, or you'll eventually be muted. Because if you keep saying the same thing, but you don't want to be part of the discussion, you're really not here in good faith. And I'm not going to let you be distracting. And try to get into arguments with people in the comments. I'm not going to do that. So I would love for you to join the conversation if you really want to talk about Democrats and common sense, or Democrats giving insults or whatever. So if you want to do that, this is your invitation. I'm literally sending you a direct invite to the panel, or you'll eventually be muted.
And I'm glad you just said that. So that's what I'm saying. You said at some point, in some reasoning, you're saying you fight fire with fire. You have to treat them the same way they treat you, right?
Nope, that's not what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. So what I am saying is there are tools that you can utilize and strategies that you can utilize to get the job done that they have used. It doesn't mean that I have to treat them the way that they have treated other people. That's different, right?
Okay.
That's different. Okay. And so I choose. So the way that I treat you is not determined by the way that you treat me. It's not. Now, for some people it is. And I used to be there. So listen, 20 years ago, I used to live by the fucking motto, you get from me what you give to me. And I would say it proudly. You get from me what you give to me. You want something different? Give something different. Until I understood that I was literally giving my power away to someone else and letting someone else determine and dictate how I showed up in this life. And is that who I desire to be? And so now I just choose to be different. So for me, I show up the way that I want to be treated. And my willingness to do the right thing is never contingent upon who the fuck you are. It's never contingent upon whether you would do that same thing for me. It's not.
Okay. Well, right. I don't live my life in order to, disparage or, I'm not out here chasing them. I don't live my life for them. But I say this, nobody ever coddled Black people. They never, it was never a soft landing. It was never, you survived.
Yep.
I think that this whole system is surprised just how much we survived and how much we thrive in this system.
Yeah.
And that like breaks their brain, because like rap music, we took something from zero and turned it into global.
Yeah.
Black people are the culture of this country.
Can I offer you something about that? Can I offer you something on that? Okay.
Yes.
So here's what I hear so many Black folks say in our conversations is, we managed to do okay with A, B, C, D, X, Y, Z. They ain't never done shit for us, and we've still da-da-da-da-da. And here's my thing. What I hear in my brain is, this ain't fair. Like, all of that equates to, this shit ain't fair, and it ain't never been fair for us.
That's a fact.
And I agree 100%. So here's the thing, though, that it ain't fair. We have to determine, how do we work from there? because the reality is it ain't never been fair. It may not ever be fair, and it won't ever get to any type of equitable fairness if we don't do the work. And the thing about it is, so think about this like the way that you deal with children. Okay, I don't know if you got kids, JP, but I got kids and grandkids, right?
I got kids and grandkids.
Okay, and so what we know is that they all require something different to bring them into the fold, right? So
Yes.
what I know for sure is that, so like growing up, I had one child that, holy shit, listen, she would rather you give her a whipping than ground her and shut off her social interaction. Like, listen, whatever you can do, anything you want to do, do not ground that child, or do not take a phone, right? The other child, she would sit solitary by herself. But for God's sake, don't ever whip her, and you don't even have to look at her. Look at her mean, and she's crying. Two completely different children, and you have to look at society the same way. People respond and react to different things, and it's not about coddling people. I can give people hard truth, but the key is, do I want to give them hard truth in a way that they can receive, or am I just going to give them hard truth that's lost on them, that creates no understanding, that gives them no room to grow or move?
Okay, so but to me, that's you coddling. See,
That's not coddling.
Wait. Let me turn around. Now, if you were doing the same thing to us, there was nobody out here saying, let's give it to them in a way that they can understand.
But we're not them. Okay, we're not fucking them. We ain't never been them, JP. And the question is, listen, but the question is this. The question is, do I just want to say you never did it for me, so I'm not doing it for you? Or is the question more about, I'm going to do what is required to create the society and the world that I want to leave for my kids and my grandkids? So the fuck what if this person gets quote unquote coddled, if it gets me to universal health care? So the fuck what if I give somebody a soft landing, if it gets me fully funded public education available to all of our children that is accurate in its history? Who the fuck cares?
No one cares. Okay, so let's say that we do that and we get to universal health care and we get, free college for all citizens. Mm-hmm. Okay, let's say we do that. Let's say we coddle, we hold their hand, we walk them down.
I don't do all that, but okay.
I'm just okay.
I don't do all that, but okay.
But let's say we do that, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then let's say we don't fix the Constitution. We don't fix the.
But that's not what I'm saying. I'm not gonna let you do that. Nope, stop it. Because when I'm talking. Stop. Hold on. I'm not doing that. I'm not doing it. No, because listen to what you're doing. I want you to hear what you're doing. Your innate response to everything is to come back with a negative interpretation or a negative scenario.
This is my lived experience.
Yeah. So what? Do we want to talk about my lived experience? Because I will talk to you. Hold on. I will talk to you about my lived experience as a Black woman from white people. I will talk to you about my lived experience as a light-skinned biracial woman from Black people. I will talk to you about my lived experience as a woman from men. I will talk to you about, do we need to keep going? Because listen, lived experience is one thing, but your lived experience is not everybody else's experience.
That is
true. And so the bottom line is do you do your own work? So here's what I hear. I hear a whole lot of opportunity for you to work through the hurt and the pain. And I know what that is. Listen, I know what that is, to be hurt by the fact, and I say it often, I am very aware that I live in a country that does not love me. I am very aware that I live in a country whose government and leadership, historically speaking, does not love me, does not like me. I am aware. I know it. And I have to reconcile that, right, with how I show up and how I do the work. The thing is, though, is that but they don't determine how I show up. And I damn sure know that if I do not show up in a way that is going to promote change, then I do not get to create anything different for my grands and my daughters. Period. Right? And so this is my thing. It is valid to feel the way you feel. 100%. Black men are one of the most, good God, attacked underserved, misunderstood, targeted, abused groups of people in this country. Probably second only to Black women. Got it, right? And your lived experience matters. The thing that is so key is that you get to decide as an individual person, JP, you get to determine how that lived experience shapes how you show up today. And you can take that lived experience and turn it into something really fucking amazing and incredible. And it's not about the high road or whatever. It's not. It is literally about, and I say this all the time for those of y'all who are new to me and you don't know this. The most powerful thing I ever did in my entire life was get very crystal clear about who I wanted to be in this life. Whether I believe in reincarnation or not, whether I come back, whether I ever come back or I don't. This is the only life that I'm living in this body, with this brain, with this heart, with these emotions. And if I come back, I don't even know I'm fucking back, right? This is it. This is my one shot. And when this vessel gives out, I'm done. So what am I going to do with this amount of time and this period and this space that I have in this moment? How do I want to show up? Do I want to show up as someone who's going to give it as good as I got? Do I want to show up as someone that says, fuck you, you did this to me, you can get it back? Do I want to show up? How do I want to show up? And that's the driver for everything. And here's the thing. I know I can hear you in your grunt right now, JP. I hear it. But listen to me. When you get really clear on that, when you get really clear on who you desire to be, that knowledge is what drives how you are in every situation.
Well, I know I know who I am and I know how I want to be. My thing is this. I'll just end it with this. My thing is this. I'm tired that it feels like we're the only sane people in the room, and the shit that they're doing, nobody wants to take accountability for it. And so when the shit breaks, we have to fix it. When the shit breaks, we have to fix it. And so I'm just getting tired of fixing the shit or trying to fix the shit that they keep breaking. And they keep breaking it, seeming like they don't understand the consequences of what they're breaking. And like I said before, we're the only sane people in the room, but also seems like the most hated in the world, that we got to try and fix everything that they destroyed. And I understand walking in a space of where, hey, I know what you did. I ain't gonna dog you out for it, but you need to wake up, okay, cool. But it just seems like, I understand what you're saying. If we don't do something to try and fix this or correct it and be positive in what we're doing, I understand. This is the mission. But I'm telling you, it's been hundreds of years of this country, and it's just getting tired of picking up their shit, man. Just you keep messing it up, we keep trying to fix it, and it's just getting really tiresome to where listen, this is what the point I was at. I've since moved on, but I was at the point of, okay, y'all want to do this? I'll sit back. We just watch burn. Y'all burn it all. Burn the whole fucking place to the ground. Just fuck it. Just let it go. Because I remember on the first term of this dude, I was like, if this dude was going off a cliff, would y'all go off a cliff? And 2020 came and it was like, no, they wouldn't go off a cliff. I was like, okay, no, 2024, they said, hell yeah, we'll go off the cliff.
No, they didn't.
And I said,
but listen,
to me, they did that.
I know it is.
That's just me.
I know, but listen, and it's okay. Listen, your feelings are 100% valid, right? Your feelings are 100% valid. And I'm not saying that I don't ever have those feelings. What I'm saying is when I find myself feeling whatever, number one, I know they're fucking feelings. And I pay attention to the language. When I catch myself in a mindset where the things that I'm saying is they and them or left and right and whatever, I know that I'm in full blown story mode. I know that I am. And it doesn't matter if the majority of the story is true. It doesn't matter. It just matters that I'm in story mode. And that means I'm in my feelings. And so I've got to do whatever it needs. And it's okay to be in your feelings. So sometimes you got to have a chat with a friend. Sometimes you got to vent and get it out. Sometimes you got to go gardening. Sometimes you got to do some art. You got to listen to music. You got to go dancing. You got to, whatever it is that you got to do to get yourself back, because there's work to be done. Right. And if you listen to me as often as you said, I know you've heard me talk about one of the things that I keep very center in my brain. And I keep this image of young John Lewis on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. I do. And I keep in mind that what was down the road, what was he looking at? He was looking at white police officers with batons and dogs. I know he was tired. I know he was like, these motherfuckers right here, somewhere in his heart and soul. I know, right? But the reality is that all of that gets put over to the, because the work is more important. That's it. That's the work is more important than how I feel about something or how tired I am. Good, not just good trouble, good necessary trouble. All trouble ain't good and all trouble ain't necessary. So you got to find the trouble that is good and necessary and live in that and live in that space.
Well, now I say everything that I say, but you know, having said what I've said this morning, doesn't mean that I've checked out. Doesn't mean that I'm not voting. Doesn't mean like, you know, the job. You still have to go out here and be a part of trying to make things better. It's just like you said. How I
Are y'all
feel,
talking with the chats again? Oh, with the bots? Stop it. Stop it, y'all. You all are literally allowing them to fucking distract. Stop. Sorry, JP.
No, it's okay. How I feel is just, I guess, really a lot of my frustration with this country, and what it has devolved to. My brain can't really understand it, but I do see what's happening, and I just for me, I just want, if we win the House and the Senate, I want them to go in there and, like you said, I want them to do the same shit that they did.
Can I show you a couple of things that might help you? Okay, so listen. So this is part of the graphics, some of the new graphics that I've been creating. So there's a series of graphics called 3 Things We Can Get Done. Okay, and let me show y'all this one. Hold on, let me show you. I can show y'all over here too. So this is the first one. Okay. So this one, 3 things a progressive majority in Congress can do in the spring of 2027. The first is add the ERA to the Constitution. And all you have to do is pass the resolution with a simple majority that allows the Equal Rights Amendment to be added to the Constitution. And all of a sudden, women are included in the Constitution. Okay?
Yes.
Number 2, budget reconciliation. That is the same tool that the Republican Party used through a simple majority to take $1 trillion in cuts and give tax cuts to the wealthy and take stuff from Medicare, from Medicaid and SNAP, right? We can use budget reconciliation and a package like that to reverse engineer what they did and put it all back. And then third, we can very, very quickly restore important forestry funding. So in the One Big Beautiful Bill, a lot of people don't know that we actually removed a bunch of funding for forestry. And so we could immediately put that back. It's one of the simplest things that we could do really, really quick. Okay. So that's one. And then I'll show you this next one. So this next one, 3 things a progressive congressional majority can do is federal protections for reproductive health care, right? So we can pass legislation to codify the protections that were outlined in Roe v. Wade into law, right? and that take a woman's autonomy and privacy into account, ensuring that healthcare decisions are made between individuals and their physicians, not the government. Number two, raise the federal minimum wage. And this is my proposal. My proposal is an $18 an hour federal minimum wage, because there are some groups pushing for 15, some for 22. We can meet in the middle and find something that is at least a step forward, and do that pretty easily. And then three, expose corporate money in politics. So there's an act called the Disclose Act that has been put into Congress. It's been introduced ever since 2010, that would basically show who's behind the dark money in politics, who's behind, what corporations are behind the super PAC monies and all of that. That bill, it was introduced even this year and hasn't been done. And with a simple majority, Democrats can do all of these things. Progressives can do all of these things in the spring of 2027.
Okay, so I am totally down all 6 of those. Okay, those are absolutely great. Now, if we win both houses,
yep,
and then they go in there and they don't do that, I would be pissed.
Of course,
because that would be fixing some problems in this country long term that needs to be fixed. And if you raise the minimum wage, I love that. I wish that it would be $22 an hour, because if it was, then people could afford homes, people could afford housing, people could get a leg up. But if that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Those 6 things, those 6 amendments that you just showed would be outstanding. But if we got into power and they sat in there and they talking about, well, you know.
So listen to where your brain went. Your brain just automatically went to, what if they don't do it?
Okay, but here's my thing.
I hear you.
I understand what you're saying. I understand the positivity of thinking positive to make positive change happen. I understand that. But what I'm saying is, I'm looking at the track record of what this country
But
does.
my point is, we already know that. And so here's my thing. I am not saying, what I'm saying is just the mindset. So listen, this is one of the things that I really want you to pay attention to, is if every time you hear something good, your first response is to consider it not happening, that's a trauma response. And it's a fair one for you to have. Listen, it's a fair one for you to have, because this is a country that has always fucked us over, right? So, but I just want you to recognize that it is your trauma response. And this is true for so many people. Many people are terrified to have hope again. People are scared to believe in the good again. And that is why it's really important that we do it.
Well, I'm a disabled vet, so I'm in therapy. So the next time, thank you for your service.
You too.
I'm going my next session with my therapist. I'm going to talk to him about what you just said, that I'm talking about these things and I'm having a lot of trauma associated with what's happened in this country. And I haven't really spoken to him about that. We've kind of talked about some things, but I think you're absolutely right. My response is, after just hearing you say that, is I hear something positive, and then just like that, I associated something negative to it. And so that I can learn from, I can grow from that. And so I will be bringing that up in the next session with my therapist.
I love that.
I hear what you're saying.
So there's a woman, have you ever heard of it? There's this thing called the fear of overjoy. Is anybody familiar with this?
I haven't heard of that.
Okay, so I love a woman by the name of Brene Brown. She's fucking incredible. And she talks about the fear of overjoy. And this is what she talks about, is she said, so there's a guy, he's at his office at work, and he's thinking about his kid that's off to school in college, right? And doing amazing and having a great time. And so he's starting to think about all the beautiful things that are happening to their kid. And then all of a sudden, they go down a negative path. Okay, but what if they don't have enough this? And what if she gets hurt doing that? And what if he gets, it's this fear of overjoy. When we get to this place of ecstatic joy, it's like, let me take it away from myself before somebody else takes it away from me. And so what you're doing is, every time we talk about the goodness, you're bringing yourself down from feeling that joy in case it doesn't happen.
Well, so my therapist says that, okay, so not associated with this, but just my life and going through things. Me and my therapist have talked about this. And he says that I worry a lot, and he's trying to, I guess, help me with that. He's saying, you're worrying about things that haven't happened, or you're kind of thinking the worst. Like, that's what he says. I think so. If the worst happens, it was expected. But if something good happens, then
at least it wasn't the worst.
Shocked.
Exactly.
Right.
So
exactly right.
So that again is that trauma response, and it's keeping you from getting your feelings hurt or getting your hopes up and then having it dashed, right? So it's a way of self-sabotage, but the ultimate goal behind that is preservation. It's self-preservation. That's it. That's all that's about. It's just, oh my God, I can't take any more hurt. I can't take any more disappointment. I can't take any more, anybody letting me down or abandoning me. It literally is preservation and protection. And so
I couldn't believe, I just couldn't believe that it happened. Like,
I know.
I was, and it was really a shock to my system that we found ourselves in this situation in 2024. And I was like, you gotta be kidding me. Like, we're going back 50 plus years to what? For who? Like, there's a whole country here of people.
Yeah. Let me help you. We can't go back. There's no such thing, you all, as going back. Let me just explain. You can never ever go back to what was, because what was has already changed. You can't change all of the knowledge that we have. You can't change the experiences of our children. Guys, you can't change like who we are already. We can never, right? You can't unlearn history. You can't unlearn what you've already learned. You know it. You can transmute it. You can change it. You can manipulate it and move it into something and mold it into something new, but you can't, we will never go back. And go ahead.
We can't go back, Dani, but let's just say, take the United States of America as a box, okay? The box 50 years ago, inside when you're living inside it, it was how it was. Okay, it's 2024. You're still in the same box. Okay? No, you can't change what you've learned or how far you've come, the knowledge you have, but you can reset the box. You understand what I'm saying?
Because the box isn't so listen, the country isn't some abstract thing. The country isn't a piece of it's not a box. The country is people. And the country is land and our environment. You can't reset this. It's not something that's separate or whatever. I want to show you, because I know you say you watch me all the time, but literally I'm going to do it because somebody, I think Linda said it in the chat over here, and then Tracy said it in the chat on Facebook, so people feel like this might be beneficial to the conversation. All right, so this is the way that I deal. And listen, I believe that the vast majority of us have PTSD in some form, on some level, in some way. Okay. And so as part of those trauma responses, many people will live in the future trying to mitigate the trauma, the future trauma, trying to mitigate the future disappointment, trying to mitigate the future hurt. And you can't really do that. But the best way to stay in the present moment is to use the circles, right? And so if you look at this little middle circle right here, so this is circle number 1, and everything that goes inside of circle number 1 is everything that you control. And here's a quick like clue. All you control is you. Your thoughts, your actions, your mindset, your time, your heart, your hope, your anger. You control you. And that's it. Okay. The second circle.
You sound like my therapist.
You're welcome. I don't even charge. But the second circle is your circle of influence, and I love this circle. This circle is the people that are in my life, and sometimes that's my family, that's my friends, that's the people at the grocery store, that's you guys, that's people that I'm speaking to in different settings. So that's my legislators, that's my Congress, right? It's wherever I have influence. And so all of you have your circles of influence, and they shift and they move around, right? I am cracking up. AI, I am not a therapist. Stop it. AI just said a therapist led discussion on trauma response to hope. Anyway, circles 1 is control. Circle 2 is your circle of influence. Circle 3, folks, is everything else, right? Circle 3 is everything that you don't control and influence. And now here's the key to circle 3. Sometimes the information in circle 3 is relevant for you to use in circle 2, but many times it's not. Okay. And so this is what I recommend, highly recommend, is if you use 75 to 80% of your time and energy focused on the first 2 circles, you will find yourself, we all will find ourselves much further along than if we all just keep focusing on circle 3. Because what's in circle 3 is in somebody else's circle 1 and somebody else's circle 2, right? And so that's the key is, right, AI can't keep giving me labels, but they do. So here's a thing that I recommend you do. I would love for you all, everybody, to do this, is sit down and write the top 10 things that you've been talking about and focusing on for the last 3 days. Write them down, right? Whether it's Iran, whether it's tariffs, whether it's gas prices, whether it's whatever it is, the 2024 election, whatever it is, okay? And then I want you to put a 1, 2, or a 3 beside it to see if it fits in circle 1, circle 2, or circle 3. Do you control it? Do you influence it? Or is it something else? And then I want you to think about, and I want you to analyze how much of your time and energy you are putting into things that you don't control and you don't influence. And then start making a commitment to shift that around. And do this once or twice a week until you retrain your brain to focus on the things that you control and the things that you influence. And what you will find is that when you are using less time focused on circle 3, you'll also, JP, find yourself having less trauma response, and you won't be working in a future narrative because you're not thinking about the things that you can't control. Right? So practice using your circles 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, I use this a ton as a way to navigate. And then the only other thing that I'll offer you from one veteran to another is I don't know what your team put together for you, but so like when the VA was determining the best course of therapy and treatment for me, we got the team together. We did not just the therapy team, but also the psychology team together, the psychiatrist team together. And like they all met, and I was in a meeting with them, and it was like 6 or 7 of them. And so then they discussed whether it would be traditional therapy, whether it would be EMDR, whether it be whatever. But that might be worth doing to get everybody else involved in a cohesive care plan that might help you navigate a little bit easier.
Well, my therapist is pretty good. We've gotten pretty far. So
I love that.
My team is good. My life isn't so much. I'm just pissed at the country.
I know.
I'm hurt. My feelings are hurt. Like I
know.
can't believe it. But at the same time, I started to start looking abroad for places of peace, where me and my wife could possibly live and just have a decent life and not worry. Still vote. I mean, I'm still going to vote no matter what, because I do care about this country. I'm born and raised in this country. This is my country. This country could really be great. It really could be one of the greatest countries on this planet.
Could
It's
be.
just the people have to choose to want it to truly reflect that. But like you said, I've watched the show a lot, but you know, this first time talking with you, so
I appreciate you.
Some very key, interesting points that you made that I hadn't thought about. So I will employ those in future dealings with my mind and thinking about this stuff. Because yes, sometimes it's pretty traumatic, and then really just pisses me off. And then you know, sometimes you know I'm angry, not out here in the world, but just. You know, just in my mind, it's just like, man, like, but anyway, but I thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me up, and I will continue to listen. And yeah, I will approach these things differently.
You were, so number one, you need a pat on the back because not only did you come to the panel, but you were 100% authentic and vulnerable in the things that you shared. And there are lots of people that benefited from that conversation besides just you. And so let me just offer you something really quickly. You did work today. You did really good work today for the hundreds of other people that are listening who couldn't get on this panel, who feel many of the same things. And so you contributed to our path forward. It doesn't look the same, but I just want you to know that because you didn't have to. Yeah, you're welcome. So appreciate you.
All right.
Thank you. Have a good one, JP.
Bye. You too. Bye.
All right. Appreciate you guys. Brooke, thank you for being patient. And we're going to continue this conversation around all the things. You know, I said a year ago, God, almost 2 years ago now. Fuck y'all. It's been almost 2 years since the election. I said 2 years ago that our path forward was going to be a parallel path that was about the politics of it, the policies and the issues, but it was also going to be about us doing work as people. I will, Jay Owen, and about us doing that work as people and doing that work together because if we change policies and systems, but we don't change the hearts and minds of people, then it's a no-win, right? And so I also would like to think that's one of the things that we do in this space that is different maybe than what some people do, is being willing to dig in and have those conversations because that's the heart of it, you all. The hurt that many of us have, the harm that many of us have felt, the disappointment, all of that is very real and very valid. And so we have to figure out ways to express it, to process it, to deal with it and be with it as we do the work to create something different. And it's all necessary. It's all necessary. So folks, when I bring you to the panel, do me a favor, put yourself on mute until I get to you. And then we'll continue to have the conversation. I have a hard stop today at 12:55 because today is my therapy day. And this girl will be on it. LaMonica, I can't tell, girl, if you are helping the algorithm today or if you have real questions. So make sure you put an asterisk and let me know if it's something you really want me to address. Okay. I said, is she trying to help the algorithm today or does she really want me to answer that? That one was real. Okay, I got you. I can do that one. And not the other. Okay, so I see Brooke is teacupping, so I'll wait for her to get back. So the question that I was asked over here on TikTok is, what's the difference between progressives and Democrats? I thought they were the same. One of the reasons why I use the word progressive is because I understand that not all progressives are Democrats. So progressives are Democrats, progressives are democratic socialists, progressives belong in many different, under many different umbrellas, right? So the distinction that I make when I talk about, I think of progressive as an ideology, not a political party. Does that make sense? Progressive, and for me, it's a progressive populist. It is a political ideology, it's an ideology, not a political party. And so that's the distinction that I would make. And not every Democrat is progressive. there are some Dems that are considered moderate or centrist, right? And so they're not progressive, but they are Dems. But when voting, how do you know the difference? By their policy, by their policies and their plans. That's how you know. So when you start to look at your individuals, it's the policy that will tell you if they fall underneath that progressive umbrella. And so one of the things that I'm working on, one of them, I've started it 3 times. I need to get it finished. But there was a progressive caucus in Congress, and they had outlined what they believe their core values or their mission was. And so I've taken theirs, and then I've taken a couple of others to look at what are the people who claim to be progressives or who are the progressive caucuses, right? Your uber left libertarian, apparently. That's hilarious. So did you do the one that was put out by Harvard, Jeff? They're fun. But, and so what I want to do is come up with a document that I think, that I hope best reflects what it means to be a progressive, just as part of Project for the People. That is something that I really want to do. Is so that people know what I mean when I use the word progressive, and I prefer that word over Democrat, and I prefer that word over DSA, and I prefer that word over socialist, and I prefer that word over all the other words, because progressive for me is about the direction that I want to go and what I want policy to achieve, right? Not just what's on some spectrum of left versus right. So like, to me, all of those other things are how left and how right and how center you are. And I don't want to look at that. So most people want to argue about where you're showing up on this linear plane. And I don't want to do that. I want to look at do the policies and the plans actually move us forward. So Cam, when you say are all progressives on the left, I would say that they lean to it. So here's what I think, that there are people that are progressive who identify as the right because they don't really know what it is to be a progressive. I think that there are many, many people who identify as Republican that are actually progressive. So let me see if this helps. Okay. So when you get into conversations about left and right, you tend to be in conversations about culture wars. When you're in a conversation about progressive policy, now you're talking about politics and ideology and issues. Hey, facts people, welcome. Thank y'all for coming in. Okay. So if you are having conversations and those conversations and people are identifying or being classified as left or right, then you are most likely talking about culture wars. And when you are considering whether something is actually progressive or not, then you are talking about actual policy and actual issues and how it impacts people. Appreciate facts people for coming in here very much. I do want to take advantage of the fact that I do have facts people coming in here, and I want to ask you guys some questions and give you a little bit of information that maybe you're not familiar with from me. So if you could let me know if you are coming over from Facts Still Matter and you've never been in my space before, can you do me a favor and put a 1 in the chat so that I know? And then number 2, I want to give you guys some information. And then number 3, I got to text Steve tomorrow. So if you're coming over from Facts Still Matter and you've never been in here before, put a 1 in the chat. If you're coming over from Facts Still Matter and you've never heard me talk about Project for the People, or you've never heard Steve talk about Project for the People, put a 2 in the chat, please. Welcome, new people. Give me a 2 if you're unfamiliar with Project for the People. Okay, love that. Katie, my granddaughter would love your mermaid. What's up, Pickles Mama Bear? Haven't seen you in a minute. Okay, so let's do it. I want to take a minute. Can you guys give me a second? I know you guys are listening over here and you can continue to listen. I just want to be able to show, you've been here a lot from Facts. Love that, Daniel. Okay, so really, really quickly. It's really important that I believe that we have actionable things for us to do to get the outcomes that we want, not only for the midterms, but for the next round of primaries, for the next session of Congress, for the next general election that's coming in 2028. And so what I had people asking me, and I'm sure Steve did too, that's why he came up with his Do Something tour, is people were saying, what can we do? Hey, Steph. And so my response to what can we do about where we are as a country was to build something. And so I took Project 2025 and I took Project Esther, and I just looked at the template, like on how the Heritage Foundation and those individuals, how do they plan their work and work their plan? Because even though they use it for diabolical purposes, the shit works, does it not? So I don't want to reinvent the wheel. Give me a wheel that already rolls, and then I will make it go somewhere positive. And so what I did was I laid out their plans and I looked out their template and I used it to write this document and to write this playbook on how we can move forward as a country. And then I wanted to give people resources with information so that they could do this and kind of move things forward. So hey, CPOP, hey, fax people. So this part is for you guys, you fax folks that are coming over. I'm sharing Project for the People information with you because you're not always on here when I get a chance to share the information. And Steve and I actually are supposed to be collaborating to see how we might be able to infuse some of the Project for the People work into his Do Something tour. So I've got he sent me a text and I got to text him back. And I keep fucking forgetting because of the ADHD, but it's okay. Okay, you ready? So here we go. So let me show you all what this looks like, okay? So there are, hold on, let me use this. That's better. Okay, so I'm going to use my hand. So Project for the People is about three things. It's about getting serious about elections, about winning those elections, using data to devise strategy, and using information to inform people. The second part is about building community, and it is about building connection and understanding through critical conversations in our circles of community. Love that, witch. And then the third part of Project for the People is about government accountability. It is about using the progressive majority to enforce oversight and accountability in government. To see a more in-depth kind of explanation, you can go to makingamericatruly.great.com. Okay. So here's what I did is I actually went and I looked through the election data of 12 states in this country. And the reason I did is because in 2024, all of those states had margins of 10% or less. See that? And I went through their election data for the last 5 years worth of federal elections. And then I looked at every county within those states to see, the counties that also had margins of 10% or less. And then what I did was I outlined the ways that this would benefit us. So for a presidential election in Michigan, you will see that 16 states had 47,000 people that voted third party. Democrats lost Michigan by 80,000 votes, right? That's 60% of the deficit. There was 1 million people in these 16 counties that were registered to vote that didn't vote. So it gives you a path forward on where to target and how to have an impact. Same thing for your House elections, same things for your Senate elections. So the purpose, when I say get serious about winning elections, what I mean is not going off of polls and what people say, but looking at the actual data for how people showed up and then devising a plan on how to meet those people where they are. Get the low-hanging fruit. Low-hanging fruit are people that are already participating in the voting process, people that are already voting, people that have already registered to vote at some point in time, and getting them re-engaged in the process. So that is step one. All right, fax people, are you still with me? So the very first part of Project for the People is getting serious about winning elections. The second part, and this is the critical part, this is the part that we have to do or we will be fucked. The critical part is about having conversations in our communities and in our circles of influence about information that actually really matters. So here's what I did. Let me ask you a question real quick. I just want to do a little bit of a poll, if you will. If you believe that people care about SNAP benefits, right? Whether they're right-leaning, left-leaning, or whatever, do me a favor and put a yellow heart. If you believe that they care about Medicaid and Medicare, put a blue heart in the chat. If you believe that they care about data centers, put a purple heart in the chat. if you believe they care about affordability and poverty levels, right? I want you to put an orange heart in the chat. And if you believe that they care about corporate money and politics, put I don't know what color is left. Put a green heart in the chat. So if you believe, and this is the most important one, if you believe that having access to that information would make it easier for you to have conversations with the people in your life and to share on social media, and that it would matter, then do me a favor and put a big ass exclamation point in the chat. Thank you, Lenny. So what I did was I built a Google Drive full of just that. And I try every week to add new stuff to it to arm you with information that will make a difference. Okay. And so here's what that looks like. So I'm going to share my screen over here and over here, but let me show you what I made available to you guys. You ready, facts people? So first, the Google Drive, let me see if this is it, because I got to make sure I have the right, nope, hold on. I have so many little screenshots to show you guys. So this is what Project for the People looks like inside my Google Drive, okay? And for you guys over here, this is what it looks like. I'll show you. Ugh. All right, so I'm going to share my screen on both sides. Be patient with me, y'all, because I'm lots of other places. Okay, so this is what it looks like. There's nationwide resources. There's potential legislations. There's a webinar that tells you very in depth what Project for the People is about. Then there are sources and links for everything. Every graphic that is in here, there is a link to the source for where the data came from. And then there's state resources, right? So within those, let me show you what that looks like for you. So when I say I did all 50 states, I did all 50 states. I did every congressional district within your 50 states. So if you're looking, you have a congressional district folder for what's in English and what's in Spanish. Within that folder, you have the information for your Medicaid, for your SNAP, for the people that are going to become uninsured because of the tax premiums that expired. And you're going to have graphics like this. In North Carolina District 6, 39,000 people are projected to lose their North Carolina Medicaid because of the One Big Beautiful Bill. And in North Carolina District 6, 61% of the nursing home residents are covered by Medicaid. You'll also see things like this. 29,000 children and adults are projected to lose some or all of their SNAP in that same district. These graphics are in every congressional district in English and in Spanish. These are the folks that are going to lose their ability to purchase insurance in that same district because of the expired premiums, right? But in addition to that, there's information on your data centers by district, your working adults that are on Medicaid that are already working, your poverty levels for your state, your voter registration deadlines, all of it is in here. And I've made it available to you so that you can have these conversations and share it across your social medias, right? Now, the other thing is I've just added a new series called 3 Things We Can Get Done. And I'm excited about this part. So I've done all of the states, okay? And so for you guys over here, these are all of your states, right? These are all of your congressional districts. And then this is what 3 things we can get done in 2027 looks like, okay? And so here's what's available to you. And so this one is 3 things we can get done in 2027 with a progressive majority in Congress. One is have the ERA added to the Constitution by simply passing the resolution that removes the 10-year requirement for ratification for a constitutional amendment. Number 2, we can do budget reconciliation. That is the same tool that they use to pass the One Big Beautiful Bill. We can absolutely put together a new one that is reverse engineered. And then, so yes, Jay Bunky, the majority of the cuts begin December of 2026. That's correct. And then also we can go back and protect our forestry. A lot of our forest funding was clawed back under the One Big Beautiful Bill. We can easily reverse that with a simple majority and get that funding back and protect our national forest and our parks, right? So that's 1, 3 things we can get done in 2027 with a progressive majority in Congress. The next one is here. So federal protections for reproductive health care. Okay. You can absolutely pass the laws that will ratify and codify Roe into law and have bodily autonomy and privacy protected for individuals so that their healthcare decisions are made between themselves and their physicians. Number 2, raise the federal minimum wage. A progressive majority in Congress could absolutely get this done with a simple majority vote. And number 3, expose corporate money in politics. So there's a law that has been introduced since 2010 called the Disclose Act that would require corporations to be able to identify who's behind the big dark money in super PACs. These are all things that could get done with a majority in Congress next year. So if you believe that these graphics would be helpful, okay, facts people, especially if you didn't know anything about this, you're welcome, Fireclad, you're welcome. You can either scan the QR code that is on the screen, or you can go to makingamericatruly.great.com. You can register and you will get an email from me that has a link to the Google Drive. Now, let me just tell you that I only ask for a couple of things. Number 1, please don't remove the logos or the watermarks off the graphics because it ain't your work. Don't pretend that it is. Karma will get that ass. Number 2, don't share the Google Drive. Okay, share the URL. Share makingamericatruly.great.com. Share the graphics from within the Google Drive. Do not share the Google Drive link itself, please. Okay. And one of the reasons why that's critical and important is because what I'm able to do is when you register and you fill out the information to get access to the drive, I then put together a sheet, and it enables me to demonstrate what the power looks like. This is what we look like right now. And I'll show you all across the country. We are in, I need to update the map, and I do that tonight before tomorrow's meeting, but we are currently in 49 states across the country. We are in 49 states across the country currently. We are in over 540 counties across the country. There's only 3,100 counties in the entire country. That means we have people that are part of Project for the People in almost 20% of the country. The only state that we don't have anybody in so far is Wyoming. Okay, let me show it to you guys over here because you guys can't see this, the map. The map can be found also in the Google Drive. The map is under the section that says Project for the People Overview and Participant Information. In that drive, it says Project for the People map as of the 2026, July 26th. It's right here so that you can see it. But this is how we build power. This is how we mobilize. This is how we get connected together. And so then we meet every other Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And when we meet on those Thursdays at 8 p.m. Standard Time, then what we do is we role play how to have these very important conversations. We go over the graphics and the data and how to have conversations about them. We go over how to share it on your social media. One of the new things that I'm about to implement is like sample text. Oh, I love that, Jesse. Send them my way. But I'm going to start to give you guys like sample text for your social media posts. So if some of you guys are like, okay, the graphic is great, but I don't know what the fuck to say about the graphic. What I want to do is start to give you some sample social media text so that when you put the information out, you know what to say about it. And let me just share with you my thought process. How do we know? Yes, we do need all 50 states, but why has he been allowed and encouraged to accumulate $39 trillion of debt? I mean, Rogue, I'm not sure. What do you mean? Why has the U.S. government been allowed and encouraged to accumulate $39 trillion of debt? Because we have a Congress that is not using its authority. That's it. I love that, Fireclad. You missed it all, Pickles Mama Bear? Okay, well, I'll clip it and I'll throw it up as well, okay? But one of the ways for you to kind of go ahead and know Pickle Mama's Bear is if you go to makingamericatruly.great.com. That's a landing page that will kind of give you an overview. And then you'll get an email with a link to the Google Drive, which we're happy to walk you through. If you're not in my Discord, I highly recommend that you join my Discord. We have flyers and we have merch and we have all of this. By the way, if you join the meeting tomorrow, the Project for the People meeting tomorrow at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, if you join that meeting tomorrow, you will get a special discount code for $10 off of $50 worth of merch. And then you will also, if you come and you bring someone for the first time, then you will get your name put into a raffle for free merch. Okay. Why is this wanting to come up the way that it is? I want it to go away and it's not. But anyway, so does anybody have questions about Project for the People or other questions that I can answer? Kathleen, did you mean to request up? Kathleen Grew? Did you mean to request up? I don't think so. I got you. Good morning, Marilyn. Good to see you. All right. So listen, the idea. So I'm gonna kind of share with you guys a little bit about like some of the stuff. Is your Discord in my link tree? Yes. My Discord is at the very top, Demi. It's the icon that looks like a remote controller. That's the link to my Discord. It's at the very top of the link tree. And there's a ton in the link tree, correct? So listen, when you join the Discord, you want to go through all of the steps. And at the very step, you have to wait. It's like 10 minutes. We have a little protection in there to keep bots out of the Discord. And so just make sure you go through the steps and follow them all, and then you'll get in. If you have any trouble, reach out to a moderator and ask a question, and they will help you get into the Discord. There's two sides to Discord. There's the side that is open to everybody, and then I do have a subscribers side of Discord that is different. It's for the folks that are paid subscribers as well. But on the open side of Discord, you'll still have access to all the Project for the People information, the Linktree information that's in there, the food channel, and whatever else is over there on that side of the world. And subscribers is a little bit different. I'm trying to think if there's any other, do you all have any questions rather than me trying to think of something that I missed? Do you all have any questions about Project for the People? No, the Google Drive link is in an email that you received from me. So you need to check your email once you registered, and just check your email. It's going to be coming from Dani, and there's a link to the Google Drive, and it's in damn near every email that you've gotten from me. What do we talk about during Project for the People meetings? So we talk about the new graphics. We talk about strategies for conversations. We talk about the things that people have done. So if people are going out into their communities, or they're at flea markets or festivals or community centers or grocery stores, people share some of the events and the things that they have put together to give other people ideas. And then we even role play. And that's probably the most beneficial part of what we do, Daniel, is if I've got folks that are I don't know how to talk about this particular thing, I do role plays, on the spot role plays where they pretend to be the person that they want to talk to, and I pretend to be them. And then we just role play it all the way down. And then we talk about graphics, we talk about strategy, we talk about candidates, midterms and beyond, and the things that we can do and get done. So that's what we talk about in the meetings. And then I do record the meetings. So for example, when I send out the email tomorrow with the link for tomorrow's meeting, you will also get a link to the last recording, and it's there. Oh, no worries, Kathleen. You're all good. Hey, Irvette. Good to see you. So I want to share with you guys some perspective about midterms and about where we are. And when we started talking about David Crowley. For you guys, it's David over here. For you guys, it's David over here. But we started talking about this Wisconsin election and the fact that despite what the polls were saying, he won as the endorsed Dem, right? He beat the DSA candidate. And so I want to speak about this from two different manners. The first one is generically. I don't care who the candidate is. I want to talk about the fact that the Democratic candidate beat the DSA candidate. And I'm going to share with you why I'm not angry and upset about it. Lady Blue, I would love to talk to you about it. Do you feel like, are you able to come up and join the panel and talk about it? I would love for you to. Awesome. So you said you're totally bummed about it. Share with me why.
I voted for Francesca and been talking, to a lot of people about Francesca, and she's totally against the data centers, and that was a big thing. So that's why I'm totally bummed.
Gotcha. So hey Juan, good to see you. So so data centers. What else was the reason why you voted for her?
Get against ICE, what she wanted to do. She's the progressive that it's not, I think we need, but
Gotcha.
Supposedly David Crowley, one reason I didn't want to vote for him is because he had dropped out once, and I don't think it's right that he was able to get back in, and then Tony Evers endorsed him. That's kind of shady if you ask me. So
I gotcha. When he dropped out, what was the reason given?
I don't remember.
Gotcha.
Because I kind of was already watching Hong and paying attention to what she was doing and saying and whatnot.
Okay.
And unfortunately, it sounds like because they came out that she was against Thanksgiving is the reason why people didn't vote for her. And I'm just like, oh, come on.
So now what I want to do is I want to build things. I want to kind of bring things down a little bit. Okay. So a couple of things. So, it's really easy. So I'm excited about this primary the same way that I was excited about Michigan's primary. And even though maybe the results were different from what really progressive people might have wanted, or people that are more left might have wanted, is because when is the last time we have had this robust of a primary and challenges to like who's going to represent the Democratic Party? So number one, I look at it as a huge win that people were engaged in the primary process, and that people there were high volumes of voter turnout. So that's number one. Yeah. Number two, this is what real democracy looks like, where in the primaries, you vote your fucking heart. You vote for the candidate that makes you feel warm and fuzzy and all giddy inside. And if they lose, you get behind the Democratic candidate that is there because they are the closest option to where you want to go.
I agree. And I will be doing that. I just have higher hopes,
I got you. And so here's the other thing. So now is when you begin to already hold David accountable as your party's candidate. So one of the things, Lady Blue, that's in the drive, the Google Drive that I was just showing you, is I did all these data center graphics, and I did Wisconsin's graphics as well. And they're broken down not only by the state, but by congressional district.
Right. Okay. Yeah, I've got that, and I've been showing people that.
So when I first read him, the very first reaction that I had to him was, that was my one gripe immediately, was I see you talking about holding data centers accountable, but I don't see you saying we don't need so many fucking data centers, right? Right. And so that's one of the things. And so I would immediately, so you have concerns, I would absolutely contact his campaign. In your social media posts where you are posting about the data centers, I would 100% be tagging his campaign in those posts. I would get their attention and I would say, people want answers. What are your answers? You know what I mean?
Thanks for that.
Yeah, because here's the thing. We're going to vote for you. That doesn't mean we're not going to keep our fucking foot on you the whole time, figuratively speaking, right? To ensure that you have answers and policies and initiatives. Just because this is what you said right now, this doesn't mean that it's okay. And so this is what people need to understand is that, okay, he won, fine. That doesn't mean that we don't get to hold his fucking feet to the fire and make him answer the questions about these really important things, because we can, we do, and we should, right? Yep. Next, I'm going to share with you, if I take away her and him, if I just take who they are out of the picture and I look at it from an overall political landscape of the Democratic candidate beat the DSA candidate, right? I'm actually not mad about that because it takes some of the scary DSA talk away from the GOP, right? All of this, the Democratic Socialists are taking over and da 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 and da da da. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah, because the ads for Tom Tiffany is just, it drives me nuts.
So this is the
Right.
thing. So I'm not angry. I'm not mad about the fact that the Dem won, because what it shows is that within the Democratic Party, they have had some healthy primaries with record voter turnout. And in one of them, the progressive candidate won. Abdul El Sayed whipped Haley Stevens. Love that. In Wisconsin, it didn't happen, right? And so, but that's okay. That's a balance. And it demonstrates that we are a balanced collective. Progressives aren't a monolith, right? They are different. And what it shows is that the system is working and it is different. And guess what? Next go around, he might not have the same outcome. So I just want to offer people a couple of points that, number one, the biggest takeaway immediately that's really small is don't get on the fucking roller coaster. If you were watching the polls and you thought she was going to win because the polls said so, get off the fucking roller coaster. I would have thought people stopped riding the roller coaster after Hillary lost to Trump in 2016, right? We should know to not be listening to the polls. Polls are not indicative of people coming out to actually vote. Numbers don't lie, people do. So you have to work your fingers and your phones and your feet to the bones until you get to the other side of the election if you want your candidate to win.
Will do.
You know what I mean? So
I know what you mean.
yeah. So I know, and it's okay to have a little bit of heartache. Listen, I cried for 3 days after Stacey Abrams lost in Georgia in 2022, for real. But I didn't. Here's the thing. I didn't cry because Stacey lost. I cried because Georgians lost. I knew that had she won, 500,000 Georgians were going to get access to Medicaid on day one. Sure. And she lost, and so they didn't get that. There were many things that were there as a huge opportunity that would have taken one push of a button or one sign of a pen, right? And man, I was absolutely devastated for about 3 days. And then I picked myself up, dusted myself off, and got back to fucking work. And that's what we got to do. That's right. So, but thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you.
Thanks, Dani.
Yeah, you're welcome.
Bye.
So in South Carolina, for those of y'all who do not know, did you know that in South Carolina, if you did not vote in the Democratic primary, you can vote in the Republican primary runoff in South Carolina? I'm going to ask that question again. South Carolinians that are in here, did you know that if you are a Democrat that did not vote in the Democratic primary election, you can vote in the Republican primary runoff? So let me give you the guidelines that were posted about this. So hold on. All right. Whew. Okay. I'm reading this so that you guys got it, because this is big. Okay. This is big. And I want y'all to sit with this shit. Okay. So, this is what the South Carolina Election Commission has said. Voters who participated in the June Democratic primary are not eligible to vote in the August 11th special Republican primary, which was last night. However, if you didn't vote in the Democratic primary, you can vote in the runoff election. So the runoff is August the 25th. Okay. So of course, Republicans can vote in that special election runoff. But if you are a Democrat that did not vote in the Democratic primary, you can vote in this Republican primary runoff. Now, there is a lawsuit from the South Carolina Republican Party. Can you imagine that? But South Carolina has an open primary system that is, and that's the way that it exists. And so, yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there for you, so that people are aware. So as long as you did not vote in the June Democratic primary, then you can absolutely vote in the Republican primary special election runoff that is going to be on August the 25th. As you can see, Lindsey Graham's sister, who is not a politician, who knows shit about governance, got 32% of the vote last night in the primary. Ralph Norman, former Governor Ralph Norman, got 24, almost 25% of the vote. And then I forget the other two. The other dude got 20%, and the other dude got 14. I can't read their names because it's too small. But so yeah, so if you're in South Carolina, do with that information what you will. Okay. All right. So do me a favor, folks. When I bring you up to the panel, put yourself on mute until I get to you. I would like for you to check down at the bottom really quickly on TikTok. If you are down at the bottom of screen and your two little people that are down here are grayed out, that means you have requested to join the panel. Do a quick check. So if you did not intend to join the panel, you can remove yourself now. If those people are color, if they are blue and pink, then you have not requested up. And do with that information what you will as well. Okay. All right. Like I said, when I bring you up to the panel, put yourself on mute until I get to you. Remember that I asked for 4 things in this space. I ask that you be respectful, that you don't use slurs, don't spam my comments, don't type in all caps. Okay? Nowhere your sacred space. That's why I had people double check. Yeah, no worries at all. That is why I had people check. I don't know that there is one TC in Arizona. I don't know that that's a thing. Yeah, that's not a thing. There is no special election that is currently scheduled for Mitch McConnell's U.S. Senate seat. Yeah, that has not happened. 1250, Rebel. 1250. Oh, a little sarcastic? Okay. I just wasn't sure. Jay Owen, it looks like you're trying to connect. No. NY Send 78, no. Okay. All right. Legendary, good afternoon, and how are you?
How are y'all?
I am great. What would you like to share?
Just coming up here, seeing your prompt. I just wanted to, I guess, talk about one of the things, either Iran, the southern border, and unaccompanied children that's being migrated through the southern border. 75 to 80% were trafficked. So that's around 100,000 a year.
So
thank you, Trump, for shutting that down.
So hey, so Popcorn, hold on a second, because you know how I do things on my panel, and you know what I don't let you do is come up and just start rattling off a bunch of things where we don't fact check them along the way. You know that we don't do that. Okay, so yeah, but what we're not going to. So when you do generalities and then you put specificities in those generalities and make claims that need to be fact checked, then that's not a generality anymore. So I would like for you to pick whichever thing that you would like to start with first, and that will be the thing that we discuss first. So is it Iran that you want to speak about first? Is it immigration that you want to speak about first?
Either Iran or DEI.
Yeah, so DEI is not on my board.
Okay, then let's talk about Iran.
Okay, you want to talk about Iran. And what part of the war with Iran would you like to discuss?
The fact that Donald Trump is doing exactly what previous politicians have said we needed to do or would do, and that's address Iran and ensure that they do not receive or achieve nuclear weapons. I think Donald Trump is the only one with the cojones to do something about it, and so.
Okay, so let me ask you a question.
Anybody that's criticizing him is very, very hypocritical.
Okay, so here's the thing. So what you said is that you wanted to talk about Iran. And instead of talking about Iran, you started talking about the president. And so I'm not so I want you to choose. I want you to determine whether you want to talk about Iran actually. Right? Because all the things that you just stated, so hold on, popcorn. All the things that you just stated were your opinions about what Donald Trump is doing. And one of the things that I don't do, and I know that you go into a lot of other lives where people like to argue their opinions. I don't do that here. Right? So here's the thing. You are, as an individual person, you are allowed to believe for yourself that Donald Trump has the cojones and he's doing a great job. That's entirely up to you, right? Because that's your personal opinion, and I'm not going to argue your opinion with you. But if we're going to talk about actual facts, then that's different. And so there are facts around our situation in Iran. There are facts around the JCPOA, the current memorandum of understanding, the fallout of that memorandum of understanding. There are facts. And so those are the things that I discuss. And if you want to talk about those things, then we can do that. But if you just want to come up here and share your opinion, it's not really the space that we do that.
Okay, well then I guess I'll take your lead and I'll follow your lead.
Okay. I mean, you're the guest, so I asked you you said you wanted to talk about Iran. What part of Iran would you actually like to talk about?
I would like to talk about how Iran, and this is a lead up to presenting facts such as them now following the JCPOA for a single day. There's the IAEA proof of that. That led us to the situation that we're in now. How do you want to proceed from here?
So I would like for you to tell me what specific IAEA report you're referring to, because the one that I read doesn't say what you just claimed.
Right, and what's the date of the one that you read?
The last one that they issued before the current president pulled us out of the JCPOA. It was dated November the 13th of 2017.
That's where the problem is, because the atomic archives were stolen on the 31st of January 2018. After months of review, they were released in April of 2018, and it showed that Iran was not disclosing all of their facilities.
I don't know what you're talking about right now. Listen, hold on, popcorn.
Wow.
You made a claim. Here's what you said. You said the IAEA said that Iran was not following the JCPOA, that there was evidence of that. And what I have in front of me, pulled up right now, is their last official report before the current president of the United States pulled us out of the JCPOA, in which it says unequivocally, right, that they were following it. Now you might think going by the IAEA's report is the problem. I find it to be the accurate thing to do because that's where the fact is.
Okay. So the 31st of May 2025, which is post JCPOA, specifically paragraph 42 through 52 lays out a timeline from 2010 to 2019, right? It lays out a timeline showing explaining
Legend.
Iran
So
violated the JCPOA.
hold on. And that came from the IAEA?
Yes, I'll just give you the paragraphs as well.
Yeah, no. So where's the document? Dated what? Where? Where's it located? Where's it?
May 2025.
No, but I'm asking you, where's it hosted on? What site? Where'd you get it from?
The IAEA's website. The IAEA.
That says what? So posted when? And says what? Give me the title of the document, please.
So it's if you do IAEA 31 May 2025 report on Iran, it should pop up. It's the 2025-025 or 25. And go down to paragraphs 42 through 52. 11 paragraphs. It breaks down a timeline proving that your report is absolutely wrong because the report you cite is before they found out that Iran was lying.
Okay, so hold on a
that's why you're
second.
citing that
So
report.
Legendary, hold on for a moment. Okay,
Yeah.
hold on. So here's what we're going to do. So this thing that you're talking about, this is an analysis that is not from the IEAA. This is not from IAEA. This isn't, no, I'm not. Hold on. I'm looking at the exact document that you're talking about, and I'm going to tell you what you're reading. This isn't an analysis. This is an independent analysis from the Institute for Science and International Security. It is not. Can you stop interrupting me?
Look it on the right website. Find the right source. What are you doing? I gave you the source. It's the IAEA.org. Go to that website. Stop going to another website and saying that what I'm saying is not true. What are you doing? Wow. Simpleton.
Hey, so Popcorn, you got one more time. I don't have to entertain your fuckery, and I won't. So you can choose right now. I don't give a shit. I will drop you and block you quick as can be, and you know that.
I just want you to pull up the
Well, and what I want you to do is you will speak to me with respect, or you will get the fuck off my live. Make a choice.
Well, I feel that you're...
Have I said anything? Have I said anything? Have I called you a name? Yes or no?
No, but you're disrespecting...
No, I have not. Have I? So listen, come back when you can learn not to talk over me. I told you I'm not doing you. I'm not doing that. Not doing it. So, Popcorn, here's the difference. You do the you got demolished bullshit. I don't. I do facts. And there's a reason why I was asking you specifically to give me the document that you're referring to so that I could look at it. Because I like facts. I just don't like facts from disrespectful assholes. So I'll look at the facts. I just get rid of the asshole. That's all. It's not hard. Give me 1 second. Yeah. You guys don't talk to Bill. Don't let anybody get you riled up. Please, 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 please. Yeah, I'm not doing it. All right, so let's see if I can find what he's referring to. All right, so let me see. So this is a very specific document from the Board of Governors, and it's a 13-page document, and it says verification and monitoring in the Islamic Republic of Iran in light of United Nations Security Council Resolution 2231. So there's a specific resolution that it's in reference to. So this is why it's important, folks. Because this document is specifically in reference to a UN Security Resolution 2231 that came out in 2015. So I need to now see what the UN resolution is, because that's what they're saying. The UN put out a specific UN resolution. And so we need to see what that UN resolution is and what they're saying about their compliance with the UN resolution. It does not say, so this, you see what I'm saying? This is why facts are important and it matters, which is why I asked. So let me take a look and see. So background on, am I sharing this? Hold on a second. Okay, perfect. So here's what it says. Yes, he did say simpleton. If you knew who Popcorn was, you would understand. We're not surprised by that. Okay, so here we go. On July the 14th, 2015, China, France, Germany, the Russian Federation, the United Kingdom, and the USA, with the High Representative of the EU for Foreign Affairs and Security Policy, and Iran agreed on the JCPOA. On July 2015, the Security Council adopted Resolution 2231, 2015, in which, inter alia, it requested the Director General to, quote unquote, undertake the necessary verification and monitoring of Iran's nuclear-related commitments for the full duration of those commitments under the JCPOA, and, quote unquote, report to the Board of Governors and in parallel to the Security Council at any time if the Director General has reasonable grounds to believe that there is an issue of concern directly affecting fulfillment of Iran's nuclear-related commitments as set out in the JCPOA. In August of 2015, the Board of Governors authorized the Director General to implement the necessary verification and monitoring of Iran's nuclear-related commitments as set out in the JCPOA, and report accordingly for the full duration of those commitments in light of the Security Council Resolution 2231 of 2015, subject to the availability of funds and consistent with the agency's standard safeguards practices. On 8 May 2018, the President of the United States of America, Donald Trump, announced the withdrawal of the United States from the quote-unquote Iran nuclear deal. Between January 16th of 2016 and May 8th of 2019, the agency verified and monitored Iran's implementation of its nuclear-related commitments in accordance with the modalities set out in the JCPOA, consistent with the agency's standard safeguard practices. From May 8th, 2019 onwards, however, Iran stopped implementing its nuclear-related commitments under the JCPOA on a step-by-step basis until the 23rd of February, 2021. It stopped implementing them altogether, including the additional protocol. As a result, Iran no longer allows the agency to conduct the following verification and monitoring activities in relation to the JCPOA. And we knew that. They announced that they were doing that because we pulled out of the JCPOA. Right? We know that to be true. And then it goes on to say, I'm not going to outline all that. And then it goes on to say, this has seriously affected the agency's JCPOA related verification and monitoring activities. This situation was exacerbated in June of 2022 by Iran's decision to remove all of the agency's JCPOA related surveillance and monitoring equipment. As a result of not having been able to perform JCPOA related verification and monitoring activities for more than 4 years, the agency has lost continuity of knowledge in relation to the production and current inventory of centrifuges, rotors, and bellows, heavy water, and UOC, which it will not be possible to restore. So yeah, I booted him, Warner, because he was disrespectful, and then he called me a name, and so I just ditched him. I do, however, want to read the document that he brought up. So I will take the document and just not him. This report, I think, is really important because it's got you all of the last states that it was monitored, and the background is essential for people who are not reading this in its entirety and who just want to pull out a couple of separate paragraphs. It's important to read the entire thing. So let me get down. Does anybody remember some paragraphs he named? They were in their 40s. Does anybody remember the paragraphs he named? I thought the paragraphs he named were in their 40s. Were they not? I didn't mute him. Popcorn, you're still here. Do you want to put your... He said in the 40s, right? 42 to 51? Oh, okay, because I can't make this shit up. Can I show y'all? I just have to show y'all. So this is from the IAEA. This is from May 31st, 2025, right? Where he said it would be. I want to show you, this is the introduction. This is the background I just read. This is C. And then I just want you all to look. See how these are all numbered? 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Y'all see those numbers? I'm going to scroll down to the last page. That's the Annex 2. Here's the Annex 1. The last paragraph is 35. Can somebody tell me where the 40s to 50s are? Because I don't see them. I don't see the 40s. It's really important when you get talking points from whoever you get them from to verify them. What I will do is give you the summary that it says. The agency's JCPOA related verification and monitoring has been seriously affected by the cessation of implementation by Iran of its nuclear related commitments under the JCPOA, which of course it has, because when we pulled out of the JCPOA, Iran said, fuck this shit, we're not participating. And I don't blame them, right? Not saying I agree, just saying I don't blame them. The situation has been exacerbated by Iran's subsequent decision to have all of the agency's JCPOA related surveillance and monitoring equipment removed. I would expect so. The agency has, this is point 3031, the agency has lost continuity of knowledge in relation to the production and current inventory of centrifugers, rotors, and bellows, heavy water, and UOC, which it will not be able to restore as a result of not having been able to perform JCPOA-related verification and monitoring activities for more than 4 years. Point 32, Iran's decision to remove all of the agency's equipment previously installed in Iran for JCPOA-related surveillance and monitoring activities has also had detrimental implications for the agency's ability to provide assurance of the peaceful nature of Iran's nuclear program. Point 33. It has also been more than 4 years since Iran stopped provisionally applying its additional protocol. Therefore, throughout this period, Iran has not updated declarations and the agency has not been able to conduct complementary access to any sites and other locations in Iran. Point 34. The significantly increased production and accumulation of highly enriched uranium by Iran, the only non-nuclear weapon state to produce such material, is of concern. Point 35, the Director General will continue to report as appropriate. There is nothing in here that says during the JCPOA, before the President of the United States pulled us out of the JCPOA, that they were not in compliance. Popcorn, you're not coming back. You talk to me crazy. I'm not doing it. When you learn how to come to my panel and be respectful, then you can come here. If until then, you can continue to go on other people's lives and wreak havoc. I was totally game for pulling up the document that you referred to, which is why I was specifically asking you for the title of the document. Which, by the way, was not the first, when I typed in exactly what you said, it was like the 5th or 6th one down. So when you learn how to come in this space and be respectful, you will be allowed in this space. Until then, you will not. And that's not difficult because I don't feel like I ask a lot from you. And every time you show up here, you're disrespectful as fuck. Every time you want to talk over me or call me names or do all of that, I'm not doing it with you. I don't have to, and I'm not. I was actually interested in the damn document that you mentioned because I like facts. So, all right. For those of you all who do not know, the IAEA absolutely put out a report, the very last one that we got before they proved us. Oh, did you come up on another? No. Well, listen, you can say I have up another wrong report. I literally just showed it to you on the screen. It's from the IAEA. It's on the date that you gave me. If you hadn't been an asshole, then we could have talked about it. Or if you had been accurate and given me the name of the fucking report, then it would have been easier. But you didn't do those things. And so now I don't care. Yep. It has the date that you gave me, released by the agency that you gave me, and that's what I looked up. So, yeah. It's not difficult. Yeah. So, anyway, folks, this is the part that's really important for me. You guys don't talk to him. Just don't egg him on, and don't interact and let him be distracting, please. Like, he's so desperate. He's literally in here under 2 separate accounts. Don't entertain the nonsense, please. Please don't. Okie doke. I would appreciate it. Popcorn, I don't care. Listen, I'm not doing it with you. I literally don't care. Yeah, I know I have 30 minutes. So, back to the things that I want to talk about real quick before I go. And I'm happy to look at any of the other things, right? What I'm not going to do is let people just come up here. I don't get into it. I don't like it. I don't like the whole call names and be disrespectful and whatever. When I'm in other people's lives and people are engaging like that, I will match their energy. But when I'm in my live and it's my space, I control what kind of energy is in my space, and that bullshit ain't it. I'm not doing baby carrot energy. I'm not doing it. So, yeah. Anyway, right. My day's been good. What's up, the boss? Okay. Holy jeez. Give me 1 second. Yeah, there's no need to apologize for those people. They just are who they are. And I don't really, yeah. Oh, this is old. Give me a second, folks. Yeah, I'm not doing it. And I think I was pretty clear about what I am or what I'm not doing. And yeah, because they're not going to. So the other document that he's referring to, released on the same day, is about the Non-Proliferation Treaty Safeguards Agreement, not about the JCPOA. And it's an important distinction. This page, however, this document is 22 pages long, so I'm going to need a little bit longer to read it, but I'm happy to cover it tomorrow as well, folks. I was trying to look really quickly. Yeah, this actually isn't about that. Oh, I'm reading what he's talking about, and it's still not right. 9 a.m., Daniel, 9 a.m. Yeah, and it's still not what he claims. Okay, I will happily go over this document with you all tomorrow. It's still not what he claims. When he gave, did you all hear him giving you the dates of, between 2010 to 2018? So he's specifically talking about some containers that were moved in to Kurzabad, and the agency requested information about the movement of these containers in 2019. In 2019 is when they asked after we pulled out of the JCPOA. And in 2019, Iran responded and told them what they were doing with them. But we can cover it tomorrow. It's still not saying what he says. And let me also just be very direct and honest. I don't have to agree with whatever Iran may or may not do. Let me say this. We pulled out of the JCPOA. That was on us. We started a war without congressional approval, without a fucking strategy, without an exit strategy. That's on us. Not only did we say that Iran was not a threat, but so did the international intelligence community from a nuclear perspective. So again, that's on us. There is no justification for where we are. Yeah, because I've been taking meds, Laverne, so I'm not coughing as much as I was. But it's just important for us to understand that no matter what we think, we don't get to determine if Iran has a nuclear weapon or not. That's a colonizer's mindset. I just want you all to be very clear about that. It is a colonizer supremacy mindset to believe that you get to dictate what happens to other countries. You don't. And until we apply those same standards to all the other countries, I don't want to fucking hear about it. Israel has nuclear weapons. Israel is committing a genocide. Israel is committing crimes against humanity and war crimes, says everyone, right? The United States is complicit. I do not want to hear what a threat Iran is when I see the threat that Israel is today, and the United States of America is not only not doing anything to stop it, but we are participating. So I'm just being very clear about these things. And if you knew anything about Iran, you would know that they don't desire to have a nuclear weapon. And apparently they don't need one to kick our ass. Just saying. Apparently they don't need one to prove their fucking point. Exactly, Jeff. There's no release of info from the IAEA claiming it. Exactly. So it doesn't. So, and here's the difference between me and other people. I can absolutely say, you know, I want us to be concerned about national security and international security, and be able to admit that that's not the actions that our government has taken. We are not a government that is acting like we care about our national security and our international security. And I say that from all levels. If we were concerned about our security, our national security and our international security, we would be taking steps in Congress to impeach and remove Pete Hegseth from office. He is not a leader that is qualified for that position. He has done things that are reckless and endangered and caused the lives of American soldiers to be lost. So I don't want to hear it. We are a country that is participating in war crimes and crimes against humanity across the world. Whether we always have or not is irrelevant. We should stop doing it today. We should impose sanctions on Israel. We should freeze our funding. We should not give any more weapons. It actually violates our own laws. When the State Department says we're going to send you 35,500 M84s so you can continue to evaporate Palestinians or Lebanese people, right, then that's a problem. That violates our laws. And so the most pro-American thing I can do is hold my country accountable for who we are and how we show up in the world. That is the most pro-American thing I can do. So when I look at this country right now, and I have a commander-in-chief that continually misrepresents himself and misrepresents the country, who appears to not have the cognitive ability to remember the awards that he gave out and the things that he did during his first term, who doesn't remember the terms of the memorandum of understanding that he signed with Iran. He literally makes the claim on Truth Social that there was no $300 billion in restitution for Iran, but there was in the document that he signed. That's a problem. And that is a concern for national and international security. If you all do not think that the entire world is watching and they are not taking into account how one of the smallest countries in the world has brought the biggest country, the super giant country of the United States of America to its fucking knees, you're mistaken. Of course they're paying attention. And they didn't need nukes to do it. I don't have to like it for it to be true. I damn sure don't celebrate it. I hate the position that we are in right now. All the way across the board, I hate the position that we are in right now. And I hate that we have a Congress and a Senate that is not doing their job. Literally, all of them need to be removed because they are not using the authority that they have in Congress to do their fucking jobs in accordance with the Constitution. I don't care what your party thinks. I don't care what your peers think. I care about what your oath is to the Constitution and what you're supposed to do for the country. And this ain't it. I'm tired of you all whining and crying about what this administration does while you allow the administration to do it. And that is why so many of you are going to be voted out. And it might take us a good 4 to 8 years to get it all done, but it'll be done one little bit at a time. Some of us are learning from you. We have learned how you plan your work and work your plan. And we are doing the same things, except we're just doing it with good intentions and with integrity and for things that are good for working class people, regardless of the color of their skin, their sexual orientation, their gender identity, how they use the bathroom, how they pray or don't pray, if they pray at all, what religion they do or don't subscribe to, what college they did or didn't go to, whatever political ideology they go to. Like, listen, I'm just telling you, this is what people want. People want policy that works for working class people, all working class people. And that's what we're building and creating. And it will take time. Don't get me wrong, it will, but it will get done and it will get faster. It will speed up all along the way because other people, it will be like, oh my God, y'all know me in my Hunger Games bullshit. All I heard it clear as a bell. It will catch fire. I heard it clear as a bell. It will catch fire and it will spread. And people will benefit and our children will be fed. And our elderly will get to spend their remaining days in dignity. And people will have access to quality, safe, affordable health care. People will be able to go for preventative medication and preventative medicine before they get diagnosed with horrible disease. Our children will be vaccinated and not be in the hospital from measles, a disease that was eradicated forever ago. People will go to work, and they will go to work with a smile on their face because they will be paid a livable wage. People will come home with a roof over their head, and they will be happy with their loved ones. And crime will go down, and domestic violence will go down, and our children will be safe, and our communities will thrive. That is what we are building. That is the direction that we are going. And you will not scare it out of us. You will not fear monger us out of us. You will not threaten us. It doesn't matter what you say. It is coming. Just so that you all know. And then for every single one of you, hold on, you better get down, Titan. Round my ass, go sit down. I don't do cats on my kitchen table, on my kitchen counters. I don't do. Yeah, you know better. Yeah, did you hear him go round? Yeah, he had on the counter. Absolutely not. Are you crazy? Anyway. This is the direction. And y'all, I am absolutely cracking up at popcorn still being in my request. Not happening, but I hope you enjoyed. Right. Okay, so a couple of things that I want to give you guys before we get out of here. Okay, number one, it is okay to feel how you feel about the current state of things, and if your person lost in the primaries, it's okay, right? And now what we do is we regroup and we prepare to hold our candidates and our elected officials accountable. We continue to grow and to become informed and to share that information. Yeah, you're welcome, Dana. We do all of that, okay? Takeaways from what's happening in the primaries. Democracy is working. Democracy is in action. And the biggest takeaway is that people are actually engaging in the process. We're having record turnout for primaries, record voting, and yes, record money being spent in primaries, right? But it's moving in the right direction, and that is the direction that we want. Okay. So that would be number one. Number two, there are things that we can do, and there are things that we can do fairly quickly in 2027 when we have a progressive majority in Congress. Everything from the ERA to the Disclose Act to a minimum federal minimum wage, to protecting our forestry, to reverse engineering the One Big Beautiful Bill through budget reconciliation and putting something together that works for us, through taking our things from the Department of Labor and putting them back to the Department of Education. These are all the things that we can do, and we can achieve government accountability, and it can all start. I just want you all to sit with this. Most of the things that I just named can be done by this time next year, but quite a few of them can be done before summer of 2027. So it's just about choosing to show up every day and do this work. And we're going to do this work. Okay. So I appreciate you all for tuning in very much. So let me just, for those of y'all who do not know, I'm closing down just a few minutes early today because I have therapy today at 1 o'clock. But let me just tell you, the new time for the Dani Cook Show is now going to be 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. This time slot just works better for me. When I do 10 to 2, I'm crunched because the girls' bus gets here at like 2:05, 2:10. And then it's like boom, 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 boom. When I'm off at 1, I get a chance to breathe, maybe get something to eat, and then deal with the girls when they get here. So 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. I think is going to be like our home team, and we may go a little bit longer some days. And then 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time to 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then we're going to start, I mentioned this before, we are absolutely going to start doing 2-a-days, couple of days a week. Okay. Couple of days a week. Lynn, what time is it? Because, we have Project for the People. So tell me what time I have you scheduled for. Sandy said the same thing, and I didn't get a notification for her either. 2 Central, that's 3 p.m. That should be fine. Okay, Carla. Yes, Tech Lady, we can make one of those. Absolutely. Okay. All right. I appreciate you guys. Love you much. I will see you all tomorrow. I might be out in these TikTok streets later on tonight. I'm not sure, but I will let you know. Yeah, take a deep breath, listen to some music, dance, get your feet in the earth, do some art, whatever it is that makes your heart happy, do that, and then get back and get ready for the work because we got a lot to do. Okay. Appreciate you guys. I will see you later.